at getmyhealthfix.com now.
Hey, JMV, thinning hair this year. Grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
It's JMV for Indiana's best. My friend Eric Wilson and Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37. It's in Fishers. Check it out right now. The GMC Acadia, good for you, the family, and the friends of the family. Inventory, car buying experience, service after the sale, the absolute best. It's one-stop shopping. Ask for Eric Wilson and head to Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. 2026 marks our 99th year in business, and we are going to make it the best year yet, and we're starting out with a bang. Now through Monday, we guarantee you the lowest price on every sectional, recliner, mattress, sofas, and more, including Lazy Boy and Tempur-Pedic, plus free delivery, interest-free financing, and cash discounts. Hurry, sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Live from the Hubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, and WFNI Indianapolis.
Jonathan Taylor, there he goes again, 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown, I-N-D-Y.
Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
Alex Pillow wins the 109th Indianapolis 500.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
And a good Tuesday morning. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, and Mark Dykton coming at you. Sports movies. You know, you go back to the summer. Last summer, certainly the Pacers provided that. The cinema of that run, show after show after show, game after game after game. It was incredible. I would say we're in the midst of another sports movie down there in Bloomington. And honestly, I think I would want Kurt Signetti to play himself. I don't think any actor could live up to who Kurt Signetti is. And then I think there's one more movie. And it's certainly a movie in the eyes of Mark Dykton. And in the movie, in his eyes, it's a pretty sick ending. But as much as I heard the cheering in the wee hours of Saturday night into Sunday morning from Brownsburg, last night, James Boyd, I heard the cackling. I heard the Hendricks County cackling. Just like that. That's exactly what it sounded like.
I heard the howling from the old man out there getting beat up in that game.
Next thing you know, Matty Bone's like, what was that? I was like, I swear it was Mark. It was Mark Dykton from a few miles west of us as Aaron Rodgers' final pass of his career, in a pick six in one of the wilder fourth quarters, frankly. If you went to bed at the end of the third quarter last night, it was 7-6. And then Mark Dykton said, watch me wag my finger on this fourth quarter.
That was truly remarkable. Like, you blinked and you're like, what the hell happened here?
Oh, I know what happened. Mark had the voodoo doll out. He was poking you-know-who all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
God bless you, Will Anderson Jr. God bless you, Sheldon Rankins. God bless you, Danico Autry, Daniil Hunter. The list goes on and on.
The purchase of Icy Hot in the Pittsburgh area has gone up significantly.
And Aaron Rodgers, he tried hard for that not to be a pick six. Did you see him trying to go make the tackle? And I was like, boy, he knows. He knows.
That man took some hits all night long, especially in the fourth quarter. It was the Texans. What was even the final? Was it 30-7? 30-6, excuse me?
30-6.
Yes, 30-6. They didn't score a touchdown.
Unbelievable. As the defense that I don't want to be too reactionary over one night, but James Boyd, that looks like a defense that could play a little bit longer in January and maybe even knock on the nut next month of the year.
Yeah, I just go back to that game they had against, I believe it was the Bills and Josh Allen, and they made Josh Allen look like he was just any old body. And I was thinking to myself, whoa, that's a for real defense. So ever since then, I really believed in it. And of course, I've covered two games against that team, and they've looked pretty good. Honestly, shout out to Riley Leonard. For a half of football, he looked pretty good against that defense.
Oof, that is an understatement.
Compared to what we saw last night from the future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers.
Texans off to Foxborough. That is our final divisional game. So on Saturday, you'll have Bills and Broncos. You'll have that NFC West third matchup of the year, 49ers in the Pacific Northwest. And then on Sunday, again, it'll be Texans and Patriots. Two key concussion protocols there with Nico Collins exiting last night, Christian Gonzalez, the star corner for the Patriots. And then we will round it out with Mark's Bears taking on the LA Rams. That is Sunday at 6:30. Rick Carlisle going to join us coming up at 8 o'clock. That is now 3 in a row for the Indiana Pacers, the first time all year. And James Boyd, you got to go back a ways. You might have been on the beat, frankly. Were you covering the Pacers in 2022, or were you on the Colts beat at that time?
The 2021-22 season was when I first moved here to cover them.
Okay, so a few months after your exit of that beat, November 18th, 2022, the last time the Pacers won a game without getting to 100 points.
Really? Wow.
98-96. The Siakam floater off the glass. Siakam has so many shots. His arsenal is incredible. I mean, that
the bag is deep,
oh
as the kids
my gosh. And it's the mid-range bag. It's just so there's so many different layers to it. I don't know if I've seen the little floater off the glass, though.
I want to know if he tried to do that.
I did think it slipped initially.
Because he had the dribble, pump fake, reverse pivot, and then shoot it high off the glass. And I thought that was probably a little bit lucky, but also the other side of me is saying maybe it's not luck because he's just that skilled. But either way, it's a bucket, and it's another Pacers win. Did you see Joe Mazzulla's postgame?
Oh, my gosh. Mark, I sent
Loved
you that
it.
audio.
Loved it. He's a character.
I thought it was one of the funnier postgame press conferences. We've got a couple postgame press conference clips in general. I know there was some chatter yesterday about the old woman in Jacksonville, but I thought last night, whether it was Mazzulla and Mark, I'm starting to love your coach.
Oh, he's awesome.
I'm starting to like me some Ben Johnson here. So we'll get to all of that. Joe Mazzulla last night, 42 seconds, Mark, and he said 2 words over and over again.
Yeah. Do you want me to play it now? Do we want to go to it now?
Sure. Why not? This is Joe Mazzulla post-game. Okay, let me set it up a little bit. 7 fouls apiece in the game. No fouls in the third quarter. When Michael Grady, by the way, shout out to Michael Grady, Robbie Hummel, Brian Scalabrine. I enjoyed that telecast. I don't know if I'd love it for 82 nights out of the year, but I thought that was a nice twist on things last night on Peacock. 0 fouls in the third quarter. I could not believe it. It was one of the quicker NBA games I've watched. 7 fouls apiece. And I'm not going to lie, when Pascal Siakam did set that screen on the final possession, I did have a cringe. This was Joe Mazzulla postgame.
Joe, give yourselves a chance to win, I guess. Take us through the last couple possessions.
Illegal screen.
What'd you say?
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
What fell apart to get you guys behind, and then how were you able to get back?
Illegal screen.
What do you mean by that? What do you want people to know?
Illegal screen.
Would you like to say anything else?
Illegal screen.
What do you mean by that?
How great is that? I don't know if I've been in one of those press conferences, James. Have you been in one of those where, like, coach walks in, specific agenda?
No, I can't think of a specific time that something like that happened, but I do remember a couple years ago, I was covering a Pacers game, and I believe there might have been some sort of issue with the media elevator or something. So none of us were able to get down in time. So we get to the media room to talk to Rick Carlisle, and they told us he already went, and the only person that was there was Pacers.com. And they didn't have any questions for him, so he left.
Carlisle has some...
he was so mad that night.
He has some short ones on the road. Like, when it's just, maybe Chris Denari, Dustin DePirac from the Stars and traveling to all the road games, and it's just Denari or something, it can get a little short on the road there. But I did have to chuckle at that. And again, I'm not going to lie. When Siakam set the screen, I did cringe. And that Celtics bench, I mean, Missoula erupted as soon as he set the screen.
Yeah. We can call it what it is. It was a moving screen.
Right. But of course,
for sure.
Again,
but hey,
I can hear people out there say, hey, you don't call that with whatever, 8 seconds to go in the game. Something
you don't call anything
lines.
in the NBA, right? You could take 6 steps, no travel.
Shout out to Jay Huff. Very nice night for him. Again, Rick Carlisle going to join us at.
Does he ever dunk normally?
And then why doesn't he talk about that? Did you catch that?
I did not catch that part.
Pat Boylan on the floor after the game. And then press conference last night, he doesn't comment on his reverse dunks.
Really?
I know. Jay Huff might be one of the more interesting individuals in the world. Maybe it's...
I was going to say the world is a big world.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a UVA thing. And then...
Rick Carlisle back in the day was throwing it down like that?
Well,
you know what? We'll ask him.
I don't know, yeah.
8 a.m. this morning.
We'll have to ask Rick about that. We'll continue to talk about 6 days from now. And, of course, it is Indiana not in Bloomington. They're in Bloomington right now getting ready. But it sounds like a pretty good health report exiting the Peach Bowl for IU. Kurt Cignetti commented on that. Miami a little bit more banged up. So something to keep an eye on there. There is, I think, a unique kind of coaching staff connection to this game. We've talked so much about IU and their continuity, but one of the key figures for Miami does have plenty of Kurt Cignetti history, so we'll hit on that. And James, I think it's fine to sprinkle back in a little bit of the Chris Ballard conversation from last week, just to kind of refresh everybody on our timelines. Ballard spoke to the media after our show last Thursday. So, of course, we had Friday, the day of the Peach Bowl. We had Monday's show, the first show after the Peach Bowl. It's deservedly so going to get ample IU attention, but we'll probably sprinkle in a little bit more Ballard conversation as the week moves along.
I'm cool with that. I don't know if our listeners would love for us to revisit some of those moments, but they matter, people. He's a general manager for the 10th season.
It's kind of a big one tonight for Indiana up in East Lansing. I think Robbie Hummel again is on the call. Is Robbie Hummel cloned?
I feel the same way about Kirk Herbstreit. Didn't he call like 3 straight games over the weekend or something like that?
That's a great call. And I feel like Kirk's dogs might be cloned too.
Well,
they're everywhere. What do we have, Mark? Is this Purdue, Iowa I'm seeing here, Big Ten Network Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Like, it would not stun me if Robbie Hummel's doing that as well.
Probably is.
He just goes Pacers, IU, Purdue.
I don't get it. I don't understand how that man sleeps. I don't understand the travel schedule. It's just like you're in a plane constantly.
Yeah. But boy, I guess he's living the life in the offseason, playing a lot of golf. But this is a big one.
W2, I need to see it.
Yeah,
Tax season's around the corner. I need to see the Robbie Hummel
the W2.
Probably looks a tad different, Mark, than you or I from a W2
Mark
standpoint.
Dyke than the debt collector.
Indiana yet to beat an NCAA tournament team. It's at Michigan State. For those that are maybe looking at their schedule, this game did bump up start time. So it's a 7 o'clock start time, again on Peacock tonight here. Not a big underdog, 4.5, 5.5 here. Typical Michigan State. They rebound it. They're very balanced in the scoring department. So I think important one at some point, Indiana's got to start to get a little substance on the old resume here. So they will be at Michigan State tonight. Purdue back in action as Braden Smith is your Big Ten Player of the Week for the second straight week. They've got Iowa coming up tomorrow. Mark, did we confirm Trent Green at all for this week?
As far as I know, it's still tomorrow at 8. So I've heard nothing else. I will text him after the show. But we should still be good to go.
So that is the former IU quarterback, of course, Trent Green, going to join us. We'll get the Miami side of it. Taylor Tannenbaum going to join us coming up at 8:30. I think you'll recall that name. Certainly was in this market for a couple of years at WTHR and is a rising star, frankly, at ESPN. Basically the lead host of the ACC network, does some sidelines as well. So they've been traveling kind of with Miami. Almost view her as the Dave Revson, if you will, of ACC Network. So she'll join us coming up at 8:30 to talk the Miami side of it. Again, Rick Carlisle here. Tuesdays at 8, back in that time slot for him. Good Tuesday morning to you. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, and Mark Dyke to 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
So Boomer Esiason, quarterback to quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. What have you thought about his season?
He's an amazing young man. You know, every time I hear him interviewed, the more I like him. The physical attributes are all there. I think he's a high-character kid. I think he's going to be a really good pro. I'm hoping he goes to the Raiders simply because the Jets do not have a very good track record dealing with young quarterbacks.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 to 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Jake Query here. Each weekday noon to 3, guests appear live on the Java House Peel and Pour guest line. Use code JAKE25 at javahouse.com to save 25% on your first order.
The biggest sale ever in celebration of the new year, courtesy of Zero Res Indy. Zero Resified, it is that time of year. Start your freshest year yet, clean 2025, right out of your home. 3 rooms starting at $119, plus a free hallway. Take 15% off regularly priced services, air ducts, upholstery, area rugs, tile, hardwood, and more. And Lord knows the Bowen family needs it, with plenty of spills on that carpet. Visit ZeroResIndy.com or call 317-388-5141. Tell them the Fan sent you.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis. Guaranteed or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss of 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HAWK to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HAWK to 321-321. That's HAWK to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
That is 3 in a row for your Indiana Pacers. First time we've been able to say that this season. They win a game without getting to 100 points. Again, the first time since November 2022 that has happened. It was Pascal Siakam with a little floater in the lane off the glass. That was the game winner. Derek White healed a 3 there at the buzzer, and the Pacers get it done 98-96. Kind of an anomaly in this game. You had no fouls in the third quarter of the game. You've got to go back eons. Last time that has happened for the Pacers, just 7 fouls total. Did you like the Robbie Hummel, Brian Scalabrine close to each bench providing some insight there for Michael Grady?
It was okay. I guess it's something I have to get more used to. So I try not to just poo-poo on all of the different things they're trying in media. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I guess it can grow on me.
Pacers plus 21 from behind the arc. Not something you typically see against the Boston Celtics team. Should be noted, the Celtics did not have Jaylen Brown for that game. So again, 3 in a row for the Pacers. They will have the Raptors coming up on Wednesday, the Pelicans Friday, and that'll conclude a 4-game homestand back-to-back this weekend. Pelicans and Pistons. Last night, we got our final berth in the divisional round of the playoffs, and we might as well just call it the Houston Texans defense because, oh boy, C.J. Stroud tried to do his part to keep the Steelers in it there.
Awful.
For quite some time. If you fell asleep at the start of the fourth quarter, the score was 7-6, and then when you woke up this morning, it's 30-6. A fumble return for a touchdown off of Aaron Rodgers there in the fourth quarter, and a pick six that had Mark Dykton cackling.
I thought he had the voodoo doll out again, just poking Aaron Rodgers and making sure he sends him into retirement the right way.
It was a nice way to end the wild card weekend, I would say.
What a weekend for you.
You did have.
I'm not going to ask you about your personal life, but I can't imagine much better weekends than that, Mark.
We might have reversed science. I don't know.
Tomlin, Rodgers, neither, both. What's 2026 look like for Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers?
Boy, I don't know. That's a great question. One or both back in this. I mean, Rodgers could play, but is he gonna, do the transfer portal and
can he play
go elsewhere?
Can he like really? I mean, I get they got to the postseason, but like, man, I don't know. I'm still not sold on the Aaron Rodgers.
They both need to go.
Left in the tank.
I think Aaron Rodgers will definitely go because he's 42 and he's a player. But when it comes to Tomlin, this isn't my opinion, but every national insider, for what it's worth, always says, well, they're not going to fire him. So
7
I don't know what's going to happen.
Playoff losses.
That's like an NFL record. They said he tied what's the guy from the Bengals?
Marvin Lewis, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, wouldn't it be crazy if in this offseason the 2 head coaching changes in the AFC North are John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin? Wouldn't that be just wild? The franchises of like stature that just like are never do all these changes, and both of them would make head coaching changes.
And one made the playoffs, and the other was a field goal away from making the playoffs.
Right.
It's not like they had a 4-win season or something along those lines. 2 other items from that game for me. I forgot Christian Kirk was in the NFL, and he was huge last night for the Texans, especially with Nico Collins, a concussion protocol. And I continue to scratch my head why the Colts let Danico Autry walk in free agency.
Yeah, it's tough. You look at that, not being able to close the door with Danielle Hunter. He's playing at a high level. Bad.
Also, one other thing. Does the flea flicker ever work? I swear the success rate on that play is like 8%.
Yeah, it's so slow.
The running back never throws a pitch all the way back to the quarterback. It's not accurate. It's slow developing. The NFL flea flicker success rate has got to be like 4%.
The one I recall working was earlier this season when Caleb Williams threw that dime in the Cowboys game on the flea flicker, and DeAndre Swift almost overthrew it when he threw it back to him.
Gosh, I feel like Mark's Bears love is teetering on a little bit too much.
What are you talking about?
Oh, they were too much for the entire first half against Green Bay.
I mean, every time we bring up something, I'm going to bring up Brooks Koepka here in a few minutes. And Mark's going to be like, Brooks Koepka's good friends with Ben Johnson. They play golf in the offseason.
You do sound like that right now.
It's good to see him come back to the PGA Tour.
He probably has the same language that Ben Johnson has.
Well, that's definitely true on that. Indiana at Michigan State tonight. Again, it will be Robbie Hummel once again on the call for this one. It is a 5.5-point underdog. Michigan State, very balanced. They are a great rebounding team. I think that has been a definite question mark for Darren DeVries and company. And boy, Indiana needs one, just flat out. If you look at the resume right now, don't think you'll find an NCAA tournament team on there. So important road game tonight for Darren DeVries and company.
Definitely. Honestly, I think Michigan State, boy, Tom Izzo, he always gets the most out of those players. And whenever I see those guys like yelling at each other in the huddle and he's just smiling, I'm like, boy, that's a scary team. I think he enjoys that. I think he really embraces when his players just yell at him.
14-2 on the year is Sparty. Shout out to Braden Smith, Big Ten Player of the Week for a second straight week. Purdue will host Iowa before they go out west. That's coming up tomorrow. That's an early tip time there from Mackey. That is 6:30.
I'm still not used to that. Before they go out west.
for the Boilers. Welcome to the reality of the Big Ten.
Yep.
And we'll continue to look ahead. 7:50, I believe, is our kick time for Monday night, so plan accordingly on that. Indiana and Miami there. A couple of health updates. Kurt Signetti mentioned the Hoosiers. Basically, everybody that played in the game in the Peach Bowl, they are good to go for the national title. Miami a little bit more banged up. I think their tight end, the Lofton kid, really in question for that. So, again, Taylor Tannenbaum going to join us here a little bit over an hour. I think one thing that is fair to say about Miami, they are a different test for Indiana. Like, I think from a...
Meaning?
I think from a sheer individual athlete standpoint, like Malachi Toney, Reuben Bain, you can probably get a little bit more into those receivers. I think Mark Fletcher is a really impressive running back as well. I just think they're a little different, a little bit more individually dynamic than maybe. Now, obviously, look at Jeremiah Smith. Like Indiana's faced some really good individual talent, but Toney and Smith, for example, are two very different wideouts. Smith is more of the downfield, whatever, going to moss you more, a little bit of a bigger wideout, whereas Toney is really going to stress you from a tackling standpoint. I think we've seen that throughout this season. So I do think that's kind of a unique angle. I mean, I'll continue to say what I said yesterday. I still think Monday night kind of feels like a coronation at this point for Indiana. But that aspect to it will be a little different. So we'll chat with Taylor Tannenbaum coming up at 8:30 about that. To Rick Carlisle at 8. Again, we'll sprinkle in a little bit of Chris Ballard conversation throughout the show. I haven't had a chance to really get to much of that audio. We'll do that. Mario Cristobal with a lot of praise for the Hoosiers. We'll toss that your way today and throughout the week. Good Tuesday morning to you. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Mark Dykton right here, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Tuesday and Claire and Company recapping Pacers Celtics. And what's the secret sauce for Indiana that might be the difference against Miami? We'll explain. Fun begins noon to 3 on The Fan.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here, you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
JMV here from my friends at Premier Weight Loss. Thank you so much. In the past year and a half, I am down nearly 80 pounds. I have never in my life felt this good. Now, for me, it's all about trying to body shape, and I continue to feel better as I do this, and you will too. And know this, if you're thinking about losing the weight, and maybe you have this as a New Year's resolution, the month of January is perfect for you, because Premier Weight Loss, they're offering new patients a free first month of membership in January. In fact, medication prices have dropped. PWL's most common GLP-1 prescription now costs just $275 per month, with other medication options as low as $200 per month. So if you have a New Year's resolution to lose the weight, no matter the reason, do it right now and get started for the month of January absolutely free. That's PWLND.com. Tell them JMV sent you. PWLND.com. Again, that's PWLND.com today. Guys and ladies, you made your New Year's resolution to get back in shape, but what happens? You don't see results and you give up. If you want real results in 2026, go now to Synergenex and Low T Center for a free men's TRT test and $200 off the women's hormone test. Book now at GetMyHealthFix.com. Get real about your health this year with Synergenex and Low T Center. For a limited time, the men's TRT test is free, and ladies take $200 off the women's hormone test. Say no to diet trends, questionable online treatments, and deceptive prices from other places. Looking for the best? Synergenics and Low T Center are the leading experts. Meet with a real provider, get real medication, and real results. People across central Indiana are going to Synergenics and Low T Center to change their lives. Walk in or book an appointment at GetMyHealthFix.com. That's GetMyHealthFix.com. Again, GetMyHealthFix.com today.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Out on the course, they're the PGA Tour's best players. But in the arena, they're prime time. And Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back with lights, cameras, action. We're talking big moments, big personalities, big names in the stands, all on the big screen. Big-time matchups with shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, and playoffs. It's city versus city, squad versus squad. The sport just hits different under the lights. It's TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf. Tune into every match. Only on ESPN.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Rick Carlisle, 8 o'clock. We'll get the Miami side of it. That would be the Hurricane side of it. Taylor Tannenbaum in an hour. Lead host on ACC Network. Are we to the point, James? I don't know. Maybe January 12th is a hair early. Are we to the point where Pacers fans wanted that ball to bank in and out last night? And maybe wanted the Derek White 3 to go in on the other end? Are we there yet?
We probably should have been there, but it's a long season. So I don't know if...
Long season could mean more wins.
I don't know. I feel like this might be a little bit of an anomaly, having a 3-game winning streak, but I don't expect it to turn to a 13-game winning streak.
That is 3 in a row for the first time all season for the Pacers, as Pascal Siakam with that bank in there. One thing I was really impressed by, Andrew Nembhard didn't score or didn't hit a shot until midway through the third. A little bit of a flurry there. And I think now Jarris Walker strung a couple together. So, you know, we were kind of waiting for Benedict Mathurin to get back in the lineup. You know, Rick said to us last Tuesday it'd be at least a week. So here we are, a week out. But that trade deadline inching closer. And I think no matter how you slice it, since January 1, even in some of the losses, I do think the Pacers have played a little bit better here. So Rick going to join us coming up at 8. One storyline for Monday night. I don't know how much play it'll get, James. One thing we've talked a lot about, it's probably something I've harped maybe too much on, but has been the staff continuity for Curt Cignetti. And, you know, I think Brian Haynes is starting to become a little bit more of a, you know, front-facing name, voice. ESPN singled him out a lot, I thought, on the broadcast.
He tweets.
On Friday night, he tweets, and he's very candid, frankly, over on Twitter. But he actually was not the initial defensive coordinator at James Madison with Curt Cignetti. The initial defensive coordinator there was Corey Heatherman. For those that have watched Miami this season, that is the Hurricane defensive coordinator. Got a great-looking beard, Corey Heatherman. And that Miami defense, it's well documented the level of play that they have been at this season. So the first 3 years at JMU, Heatherman was there under Curt Cignetti. Great defenses at James Madison. He left there to go to, I think it was a position coach at Rutgers. before becoming the defensive coordinator at Minnesota. This is only his first year at Miami, and then Bryant Haynes took over for him at James Madison. So, again, I guess you can look at it one of two ways, and Kurt Cignetti definitely spoke to both of this yesterday of certainly Corey knows a little bit of what we want to do offensively, but we also know a little bit of what he wants to do defensively. And, of course, we're talking I think it was 2019, 2020, and 2021. So I think both coaching staffs have evolved. But I don't know. Probably not a huge storyline, but that Miami defense, man, and that D-line specifically, they have wrecked some games. And, if they are able to, for any sort of Miami recipe, Ruben Bain has got to make his impact on this game.
Yeah, he scares me. That dude can play, and he'll play on Sundays for sure. Offensively, Malachi Toney, game-breaking type of player, game-breaking type of speed. It blows my mind. He's supposed to be a senior in high school. Could you imagine him in a high school setting?
No.
Boy, I'm like, how many touchdowns is he going to score a game? 8?
Yeah, he was 17. I think he was 17 in the opener when they played Notre Dame, and I was just laughing watching Notre Dame try and tackle him.
And it's so impressive because you see the one-and-dones in basketball, but just the physicality of football, you usually can't do it.
Right, like Cooper Flagg, right? Wasn't he a early enrollee or however you want to look at it?
Exactly. Even Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State was pretty young. I want to say he was 17 when he started his college career, but he doesn't look, he's like physically so big. But Malachi Toney, he's not that big from a body composition standpoint, but he is big time when it comes to game days. So he's somebody else that scares me. But even then, Kevin, when I look at the matchup, I feel like Miami has to play darn near perfect to beat Indiana, and it still might not be enough because I believe Indiana is just that much more talented overall and also that much more disciplined overall. If you remember that Ole Miss game, there were a couple of late penalties, and I'm not talking about like play penalties. It was like dead ball type of stuff where you're like, man, what are you doing? That doesn't happen with IU.
If Miami has the same discipline they had in the Fiesta Bowl, Indiana's winning by 3 scores.
Exactly.
And one thing to note, they had a targeting, one of their starting safeties targeting there in the second half. So he is out for the first half. So if you are Mike Shanahan, Fernando Mendoza, Charlie Becker, on a little go ball, I would assume you try to test them vertically on multiple occasions in the first half with, backup safety in the game. I saw this stat going around a little bit yesterday. This is probably the third year of kind of the big NIL era that we've had here in college football. And someone threw this out. If you look at the 12 semifinal teams that we have had here, and you look at the 12 quarterbacks on those semifinal teams, 11 of the 12 are out of the transfer portal.
Wow.
Are we done with the homegrown quarterback? Like, is it over? Is the 5-star, 4-star QB sitting, waiting, developing? Is that over?
It probably is, in my opinion, with respect to just how quick and easy it can be to plug and play. And I probably shouldn't say easy because there are some difficulties to it, getting a guy into your system and trying to get them acclimated for perhaps just only one season like Fernando Mendoza is having with Indiana. But, I mean, you see the same thing in college basketball. If I can get a guy who's already done it at this level and he's stronger, smarter, more disciplined, knows what I'm expecting from him from a character standpoint right off the bat, and he's 22 versus being 17, 18, I understand it.
So the new method for quarterback is you find team ranked 20 to 40.
Yep.
In college football. You let them develop the guy, and then you pluck.
The rich get richer. I mean, unless you're like Bryce Underwood at Michigan, where you're this phenom.
Yeah.
And you come out
CJ Carr's got a little bit of that at Notre Dame.
Yeah, and you're just the guy. But, yeah, that's the reality of it. And I want to say it might have been the Utah coach. He talked about how he very well recognizes that we're going to be a tweener program where we're going to get the guy, develop the guy, and they're going to have aspirations of going to compete for a national championship or somewhere bigger than us. And that becomes our selling point. Come to us, we'll develop you, we'll get you better, and then you can move on to the IUs and Miamis of the world.
Yeah, so last year, of course, in the semifinal round, you had Will Howard and Riley Leonard in the national title game. What was that? Kansas State and Duke, I believe, the respective transfers there. Quinn Ewers initially, kind of the high school drama with him and the NIL at Ohio State. Drew Aller is the lone one. Obviously, this year you will have, the Cal quarterback, Georgia, Miami for Carson Beck. A little bit different on that end. Dante Moore initially, UCLA, I believe, for him. And then, of course, Trinidad Chambliss, that story. Pretty well documented from Ferris State. Rick Carlisle coming up at 8 o'clock. Again, we'll get the Miami side of it with Taylor Tannenbaum at 8:30. I guess I'll leave it pretty open-ended for you, James. Anything, if I had to say, the thing that jumped out to you the most by what Chris Ballard had to say last Thursday, you would say was what?
The Juju and Shimmer comment. The owner had to ask you, are you still confident enough in yourself to do the job? Man, that is pretty sad. I'm not going to lie to you. That was never going to go over well. Granted, nothing he said was going to go over well with the fan base, but that part of it, are you still confident?
When he said Juju, I thought he meant Juju Brents was coming back.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was going with that.
I thought Juju Smith-Schuster was an option or something.
Well,
I was like, what the hell are you
tell that
doing?
to Zaire Franklin.
Oh, boy. Imagine those guys being locker neighbors.
Well, I don't think those two see eye to eye. I thought the Juju and Shimmer comment was one of the more ridiculous things I've heard in a Colts press conference.
Well, I was waiting to Mark's point, I was waiting for the disco ball to drop out of the ceiling.
Yeah, I guess. Mark, do we have that audio? This was Carly Ursay-Gordon's top question. Is that right?
That's how he
that
phrased it. Yes.
Okay.
He said they met before the Houston game.
Several times.
And he said they had a couple of hours-long meetings.
And the top question from Carly Ursay-Gordon to Chris Ballard was this.
The number one question she asked me, do you still have your Juju or Shimmer to do this? It was a fair question.
Do you still have your Juju or Shimmer to do this? It took me a while to kind of process that, but I was stunned that, I guess in Carly's eyes, the most important question to ask a GM with a failing resume now 9 years into it is, do you still have, and can you maybe synonym.com, thesaurus.com that Mark diked in for Juju and Shimmer? Get some other similar words here for that. But I believe Chris referenced, again, confidence, belief, et cetera, et cetera.
You still sparkle?
Well, is that what the .com says?
That's what Mark Dykton says.
Okay. I didn't know if you right-clicked on Microsoft Word and you went to the synonym thing and all of a sudden you found some other words.
I thought Juju was a bad thing.
That matched that. Well, bad Juju certainly is. James, I could not believe that was it. And I guess it left me thinking a couple things. One, I always thought the Irsay family held Chris Ballard in high regard. They hold him in much higher regard than I even thought. That's where I'll go first. Because to me, that is a question that maybe the Rooney family asks to Mike Tomlin today.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you've been here for what, 2 decades now? Do you still have it? Do you still? And Tomlin's a little unfair because he's still young. That's a question that if I am the North Carolina athletic director 5 years ago, I'm asking Roy Williams.
Right.
If I'm the Duke AD 5 years ago, I'm asking Coach K. If I'm the Kansas AD, X amount, Jay Wright, Villanova, these guys in an age of college athletics that has changed greatly, I'm saying to accomplished people, I think that's the key word, accomplished people, do you still feel like you can get it done? To me, that's not a question you ask people that haven't accomplished anything. It was really a question that I just walked away from the press conference being like, wait, that's the first evaluation mark on Chris Ballard? Do you still have confidence in yourself?
Yeah, I didn't.
5 days later, I'm still at a loss.
I didn't feel good about that at all. And I don't see how that can instill some confidence into this fan base, quite frankly. Now, granted, again, they probably weren't going to be confident either way. With the general manager being retained with that resume, considering you haven't won the division, 1 playoff win, 2 playoff appearances. We know the resume. But, yeah, that was weird, man. And then having to sit up there and try to explain why that's meaningful for him. Yes, I'm still confident. Well, of course, you should say that, and you probably should still be if you are going to be the GM. I don't want any unconfident person running my team.
Like, if I were Chris Ballard and I heard that question being asked of me, I would think to myself, holy bleep, I'm keeping my job. This is incredible. All I have to do is say that I'm still confident.
Job for life. Some synonyms, by the way, for shimmer: shine, sparkle, glitter, gleam, and flicker. And then juju, like James said, it's kind of bad. It's like voodoo, fetish, all that stuff.
Oh, jeez. Well,
I know. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go in on this Tuesday morning.
I'll leave that on the cutting room floor there. Now I'm picturing Mark Dykton in glitter when he watches the Bears coming up on Sunday.
Well, here's another synonym I've seen for juju: mojo. I feel like you know, mojo, maybe swagger is maybe another one. Charm is on here.
Yeah, I don't understand the question at all. And why that is the top question. You know, to me, it's more of a, okay, why have we continued to fall short? Why are these late season collapses happening under your watch, no matter who the coaching staff is? Why do you feel like you need to all of a sudden turn the leaf on a defense that you've invested richly in over the years, and now in year 8 you've decided, hey, that scheme, that system I believed in for so long, yeah, we need to change it. Let's get Lou Anarumo in here. Okay, then the very next offseason, hey, yep, that personnel, the guys we've signed to 2nd and 3rd contracts, yep, it's aging, it's slow, we need to get younger and faster, I need to clean up my own mess. One more time on that clip, Mark.
The number one question she asked me, do you still have your juju or shimmer to do this?
Yeah, I don't know.
If that's the top question on like a job interview, you're like, this is
No,
made in the shade.
I want both of you to go home to your wives and ask them, do you still have your juju or shimmer to do this? And see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to end very well.
I wouldn't want the answer for my question. Do I still have it? Do I do it for you?
Yeah.
Please don't answer.
I was going to say, we probably
Please don't answer. It's crazy.
We might have some commercials on these airwaves that could help you out in that area, Mark, honestly. Anything, tangible. Defense, younger, faster, from an improvement standpoint, focus there. He mentioned the run game. We need to run it better when we want to run it.
Yeah.
There's no bigger 180 in this season statistically than you look at the rushing, particularly Jonathan Taylor, in the first half of the year and the second half of the year. So anything from a roster improvement for the year of 2026.
Well, I don't know about improvement. Perhaps it's just different.
Tweaks, whatever you want to say.
But I thought that he was more open to the idea of moving on from Anthony Richardson than ever before. We know that in the past, Chris Ballard has been a staunch Anthony Richardson Sr. supporter, believer, no matter what. He said before the season that they would not trade him. Now, I'm kicking myself thinking of it right now. I should have followed up in that press conference and had a chance to ask him, will you trade him now? Is that a possibility? Because it sounded like they were definitely open to it. Because the reason I think that, Kevin, was when he talked about Riley. And he said something along the lines of, well, we believe something might be there to the point where if Anthony isn't where he needs to be, then perhaps Riley is the number 2. He said those words out loud. And I was like, wow, okay, you think that highly of Riley, and you're still kind of iffy on Anthony, both from, I think, a health standpoint when it comes to the eye recovery and also a roster standpoint. They do have to make a decision on his 5th-year option. I would imagine they do not pick that up for the season, which means he's going into the final year of his contract. So if that is the case, perhaps we've seen the last of Anthony Richardson, and they're going into next season thinking, we'll have Daniel Jones, Riley Leonard, if Daniel can't go at the first game of the season, and we'll just sign some other quarterback who probably has no chance of playing.
Yeah, on the Richardson front, I don't know if we've discussed this part of it very often, James, but I do think we've reached kind of this point in his career, and this is par for the course for any first-round pick, particularly one taken in the top 5. If you look at the Colts offseason right now, they will operate without a first-round pick, and currently they're north of $50 million in cap space, which is obviously a big number. But if you're going to say, hey, a huge chunk of that is going to Alec Pierce and Daniel Jones, potentially all of it, now when you have a focus of trying to improve the defense, getting younger and faster, is it just draft picks you can throw at that focus? So I bring all of that up to say this about Richardson. You mentioned no fifth-year option, and yes, I agree with you on that. Again, just to refresh everybody, they have to make that decision in the next, I think it's by like May. That is for the 2027 season. He is still under contract, Richardson, for 2026. James, that cap hit is $10.8 million. I don't give. I know it's a quarterback, but I don't think you can afford to have a $10.8 million quarterback you've already benched on multiple occasions and have shown no real trust in.
So you're saying, hey, we got to move on for cap purposes and also.
Which, again, the cap element I've never really used as a reason to get rid of Richardson.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it, honestly.
But if you are trying to improve your roster, and, I mean, Mark, look up Riley Leonard's contract. I mean, I can't believe we're comparing Richardson and Leonard, but I guess we have to live in a little bit of reality here. I'm going to guess Richardson is not even at $1 million Leonard is not even at $1 million for next year. So if you're talking about a $10 million difference between those two individuals, and you're trying to improve your roster without a first-round pick, then to me...
Well, you can't just tell the Jets, hey, wait a second here. Can we work something out where I get one of those back?
Yeah, I don't think that's how it's going to work.
He'll make just a little over $1 million next year with bonus proration.
I hope I can say that one day in my life.
Hit?
I don't see that in front of me, but he made $840,000 base salary this year with a bonus, so that pushed it a little over $1 million, and then he'll make a little over $1 million in 2026, and then 1.12 in 2027, 1.23 in 2028.
So you're talking about Richardson making 10 times, or having the cap hit 10 times the amount of Leonard. You know, if you want to look at it from that standpoint.
To Mark's point, his cap hit is just over $1 million, $1,063,000.
So yeah, so again, 10 times and change. Obviously, that is a substantial amount. And now the question becomes, what team out there will say, "Hey, we'll take on $10.8 million of the cap hit, and we'll do it for a 4th or 5th round pick."
My only thing with this is, how confident would a team be in trading for him when they don't know what's going on with his eye? Could that complicate things?
No, that is definitely.
Because, I mean, as great as he might look on paper, in theory.
Yeah, passing the physical is going to be quite something.
I need you to be able to see, man. That's one of those ones where, you know, you have the trade go down and all of us do the whole source says this has been agreed upon. That's a trade you would want to see be officially approved before you start making reactions, because again, they have to give him the physical, and at that point I think they've given his eye exam, and I'm not kidding. Wouldn't you have to do something to figure out how well he can see or can't see?
Who starts more games in their NFL career the rest of the way, Anthony Richardson or Aaron Rodgers?
I thought you were going to say Riley for a second. I'm going to go with Anthony Richardson because I think this is the end for Aaron Rodgers.
Mark?
I mean, longevity, I'll say Anthony Richardson just because, boy, Rodgers is at the tail end. So if Anthony Richardson can't get on the field more than Aaron Rodgers in 2026 and beyond, oh boy.
Yeah, that's rough.
Be honest, Mark, were you rooting for a Rodgers injury last night?
No, but I was very happy with the pick six. I'm happy he got brutalized.
Should we lie detector him?
You can.
I think you can. I feel like a true hater doesn't want your opponent to get injured. You want them to get embarrassed.
No,
have you seen Mark?
I want him to consider retirement. Be like, wow, I got my ass kicked last night. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm seeing Will Anderson in my nightmares. So, no. If he wants to do it one more time, that's fine. I want him to get absolutely pummeled, though.
D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud, the same cycle as Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson. That is their 3rd playoff win. Obviously, 2 division titles there. Their first playoff win in franchise history. Houston, New England. That will be... Boy, I don't know about that. Coming up on Sunday.
Again, this is why I love NFL
3-point spread on that.
New England can go either way. You can talk me into either person. I will say this. The Houston Texans will lose if C.J. Stroud plays like he did last night.
Well, his ball, the ball security was horrific.
I was like, what are you doing?
He did have a few big time throws though.
He did, but that's what I'm saying.
There was one right after the muff fumble or the errant snap where then he found Kirk down the sideline
Also,
there.
What a pickup.
I'll tell you what, I said it earlier. I forgot Christian Kirk was in the NFL. The other guy I
Franchise
forgot that was in the
record for him last night.
The other guy that I forgot was playing in the league this weekend was Brandon Cooks.
Yes. He made every big catch in that game. They were talking about he still has tread on those tires. I'm like, boy, does he? He's still a burner.
Gosh, I mean, these are a couple wideouts. I'm like,
but yeah, Christian Kirk
turning back the clock here.
He finished with, I believe, 144 yards last night, franchise record in the playoffs for Houston. And that was after Nico Collins went down. So you're getting more of the attention from the defense, and you're still going out there putting up some big-time numbers. And so a lot of factors to consider for that matchup. But I will say the Nico Collins absence, most likely due to him getting concussed last night, is a big one for Houston to try to overcome. So
I will say, before we get to Rick Carlisle here in a few, Ben Johnson is quickly becoming a coach I love. Mark, do you have this audio from yesterday?
Yep.
So my GOAT of the weekend was Ben Johnson's handshake with Matt LaFleur. Is he coming back, by the way? Did we get that report yesterday?
I don't know.
Thought I saw Schefter say something along those lines. This was Ben Johnson yesterday. Mark, is the question included on this? I think the question kind of sets it up. Okay. This is Ben Johnson yesterday. Further questioning about, Green Bay, the rivalry, et cetera.
Between you and LaFleur, the 2 wins things, the handshakes, beyond, getting this important playoff win, why is this important to you, or is there something personal beyond that?
This is a rivalry, and the city of Chicago, Green Bay, it needs to be a rivalry.
Me like. Me like.
Glorious.
That the post-game locker room, correct? With
right
Ben
after
Johnson.
right after the team prayer, too.
Yeah.
Dropping the F-bomb.
Hey, Father, exit stage left. I got a few things to say about the Green Bay Packers. This is healthy. Like, I don't want to turn this into like the NBA bro culture, everybody hugs after the game debate, but
sports hate is great.
And it's healthy. And it's, I would argue it's necessary. I'd argue it's really fun.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I appreciate his honesty. Like, can you imagine Shane Steichen saying something along those lines about DeMeco Ryans or Liam Cohen?
Well,
or the Houston Texans.
I was going to say, Kevin, he has to beat him a few more times.
Well, yes. I wasn't trying to just
that
bury
record ain't so pretty.
I was about to say, how
Play
he
out the
going to get up there?
hypothetical
How he going
here.
to get up there and talk trash to them? He's doing 10 against them. But to your point.
Be like Barry Odom trying to talk trash to Kurt Cignetti right now.
But no, Shane Steichen would never. And again, I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because I guarantee you, if the Bears had not had this much success this season, people will be saying what Ben Johnson is doing is corny. But I will say this. He is himself through and through. And the fact that he said, I talked to the owner about this and we were on the same page, I was like, yeah.
Mark, I love it.
That was great.
I love your coach.
I love him too. He's awesome.
I don't know what the hell he was doing going for the 4th down early in that game from like the 30-yard line, but I like him.
He coaches football like he's playing Madden.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, he definitely's got that element to it. Speaking of coaches, Rick Carlisle, he joins us on the other side.
Packers suck. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Your home for indie sports. Now with even more ways to listen.
Listen on air.
Online at 1075thefan.com.
And on our free app.
Stay connected to all things indie sports, including the latest news, show blogs, and catch up on what you've missed with our podcast.
We're never more than just a click away.
Download our app at Google Play and on the App Store. From your home for indie sports.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
For healthy, delicious food, you don't have to eat out. You can enjoy delicious meals from Healthy Choice, like their Simply Steamers grilled chicken and broccoli Alfredo at home. It's what having it all tastes like.
Have you played Cash Pop from the Hoosier Lottery? It's Indiana's newest draw game, and it's poppin'. Match just one number from 1 to 15 to win. Tickets start at $1. Prizes start at $5. Visit HoosierLottery.com. Please play responsibly.
The gold standard for hair restoration, it is We Grow Hair Indie. They are the best in the business, and they are ready to help you out today. Northwest side, that would be building number 2 at the Pyramids. Darren Andrews and his staff, tremendous. They've got information and education for you. And I think you owe it to yourself for that. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me asking, hey, what was it like going through the process that you did? What were the questions you have? What was, things to keep an eye out for? And, I think these are all questions that I had certainly walking in there. And initially I was not thinking this is something that I would go through on. But again, from listening to Darren and his staff, a lot of great info and felt pretty confident in going through that process. So that is We Grow Hair Indy. Again, they are the gold standard for hair restoration, located on the northwest side. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Contact them today.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HAWK to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HAWK to 321-321. That's HAWK to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
107.5 The Fan and Franciscan Health present Good for the Heart Fridays. Listen to Jake Query every Friday to hear a heartwarming story from our local community. Jake knows firsthand the importance of heart health. Jake and the Fan have teamed up with Franciscan Health to make a difference, one beat at a time. Good for the Heart Fridays, brought to you by Franciscan Health Heart Center. Learn proactive measures to keep your heart healthy and schedule your heart scan at franciscanhealth.org/screening bundles.
Wendy here. If you're looking to add a star player to your financial roster, you should take a look at SoFi's personal loans. SoFi's got some amazing moves that would be a valued addition to any team, like low fixed rates when you consolidate your debt, no fees required, and as soon as same-day funding. View your rate at SoFi.com/roster to get started. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply at SoFi.com/roster. NMLS 696891.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live from the Hubler.com studios, you're listening to 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. WIBC HD2, WIBC HD3, and WFNI Indianapolis.
The Pacers are home to face the Toronto Raptors tomorrow evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is The Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Listen, guys, listen. When we first got here 5 years ago, Coach said we celebrate every win, but tonight's no regular win. 11 coaches in the NBA have reached 1,000 career wins, ever. And tonight, we're celebrating you. We're not watching that play. You want to keep coaching it.
Coach Carlisle, congratulations. Man, 1,000 wins.
Congratulations, Rick, on your 1,000th win. Can't wait to see the next 1,000. Good luck this year.
Coach Richard Preston Carlisle.
I just want to say congratulations on 1,000 wins.
Hi, Rick. This is Luca. I just want to congratulate you on 1,000 wins.
Some pretty iconic voices there, and it's now win 1,002, 3 in a row for the Indiana Pacers as they take care of the Boston Celtics last night. A little bit of a throwback score, 98-96 inside of Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It is a Tuesday. It is 8 o'clock. We head to the Payless Liquors hotline right now, and he is the head coach of the Indiana Pacers. He is Rick Carlisle. Coach, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm okay. You guys must be awfully bored.
I told you he was going to do this.
If you need Mark to send that to you, we can certainly send that your way. I'm sure you would love to play that over and over again. In all seriousness, congrats on getting to the 1,000 total. We might double back on that at some point here, but let's go back to last night. And you've made the analogy before, late game situations, kind of like the red zone in the NFL. What did you like about how your team executed, not just the Siakam floater, but in the final few minutes?
We scored and they didn't. Pretty simple.
Easy enough. The final play, was that simply just let's get it in the middle of the floor to our best player and let him operate?
Yeah, two best players really, just involved both Andrew and Pascal. And look, wherever the best opportunity presents itself, attack it.
Rick, what do you think Jay Huff is giving you all from a versatility standpoint, the ability to obviously finish in unique ways around the rim, but also knock it down from range?
Well, those two things, the rim protection's the other thing that is really evident. And I assume he's still leading the league in blocks, or he's certainly up there somewhere. But look, he's growing through this whole thing. New team, new situation, new system, new scenery for him and the family, just a lot of things to adjust to, and, a different style of defense, a myriad of things. And sometimes things take time, but he's gotten more and more momentum in certainly recent weeks. And he played big in the Charlotte game 5 days ago. And last night, he was terrific again.
Rick, I don't know how much you all rank the level of dogs on your team, DAWG, but Quentin Jackson seems like he's in that category. What is it about that guy that allows him to just be fearless in big moments, regardless of if he's even been in those moments before?
Well, I use the word fearless on occasion. I wouldn't say I use it all the time, but we want our guys to be fearless within their skill set, within their strengths. And, Quentin's a guy, from his background and everything else, who went through a lot, had to go through a lot of things, a lot of challenges in his life. And, he's a survivor, and he'll tell you that. And so, when we use the word fearless, with him, it doesn't take much. And I thought his contribution last night was very, very important. I think he went in the beginning of the fourth quarter. I haven't watched the game yet. I'm about to watch it, but he went in there and things were they were fragile and they were tipping, and he was decisive. He was aggressive. He made a difficult, little step back 2-point shot. Then he hit a big three, and then he was on the floor a couple times making plays and deflecting balls. And it just, his aggression kept the crowd into it, and it kept our team aggressive and confident as well.
That's Rick Carlisle. Pacers 3 in a row, and coming up tomorrow night, they got the Raptors Pelicans Friday as they conclude this 4-game homestand. I want to go back to Pascal Siakam, his all-star candidacy. I think despite, maybe whatever the win total is and how people, individuals can get criticized for that, I think it's very deserving. Is that something that you in your history, have you gone about the way of contacting other coaches to try and pitch all-stars? Is that something that even happens? How does that process, work from a behind-the-scenes standpoint?
Yeah, I don't want to get into it too much, but the answer is yes. And but it's, to me, it's not just something that you do on a commonplace basis. It has to be a special situation to really go to bat. To me, this is one of those situations. And so, I'm trying to talk to as many coaches as possible, and really, I believe he's going to get strong consideration. I don't know all the numbers in terms of guys that qualify and don't qualify. I know there's a minimum number of games and things like that. So, but he's been great, and this is his 3rd game winner. and he may even have more than 3 game winners. He may have. Well, he hit the decisive shot in the early game in our first win of the year against Golden State to give us the lead, and then I think Quentin Jackson got the shot to put us up 5 or something like that. So this may be his 4th game winner out of 9 wins or whatever it is, and there may even be another one in there. I'd have to go back and analyze it, but he's certainly deserving.
Well, I thought that block he had too there late was a key play when it was all said and done. Again, Rick Carlisle with us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. Probably one of the wilder stats from last night: 7 fouls apiece. Did you feel that as the game was moving along? Mike Rady said on the broadcast that there were no fouls in the third quarter. Did you view it as a less physical game, or just more of a officiating? We're kind of going to swallow the whistle a little bit tonight.
Good question. The emphasis of not fouling is such a big thing with every team. I guess I would have to believe that every once in a while you get some kind of a perfect storm where, the game is physical, but people are playing on both sides of the ball with their feet and their bodies and keeping their hands out of it. And so, maybe that's a contributor as well. I mean, I looked up there as well, and I saw the whole thing, and it was just like, whoa, and fouling has been one of our challenges. And so we're doing better there. It shows growth on our part. I do think Boston is a team that does not foul a whole lot. If you look at their stats.
Rick, I know you don't like talking about yourself, but 1,000 wins is pretty significant in the NBA. So here's how I'll spin it. Who throughout this whole journey did you think of when you crossed that threshold, who helped you get to where you are, whether it was from your playing days, obviously early coaching days, but just people along the way that helped you get to this milestone?
Well, the number one thing that I thought of was our players, and we had been through a difficult month, and so that was the most important thing. But look, my family has been absolutely supportive. Donna and Abby have been just phenomenal inspirations for me for many, many years. And look, I mean, if I go back and think of people that have been really, really instrumental, certainly Larry Bird has been one. Playing with him for 3 years in Boston when he was the best player in the world, really for all 3 years, was an illuminating revelation for me, just to see what real greatness looked like. And then, moving on from there, when I was I was able to get my last shot to stay in the NBA with New Jersey Nets, and Bill Fitch had just taken the job, but he only had one assistant. And so I made the team for a month. And when he called me to cut me on the phone, he offered me a coaching job in the same during the same conversation, which was life-changing, absolutely life-changing. So I was with him for 3 years. He's in the Hall of Fame, and then Chuck Daly came in there for 2 years, and Chuck became a great trusted friend as well, great mentor like Fitch was. And those guys taught me so much about everything from the X's and O's of the game to the building of relationships. And then, on from there, I was fortunate to work with PJ Carlissimo for 3 years in Portland. He was the head coach. Back here, Larry Bird takes the head coaching job in Indiana, which, was a shocker to me at the time, but it gave me the opportunity to really elevate my level of responsibility and really began to start thinking about head coaching. And so, on and on from there, but Indiana's been extremely important to me. As I mentioned, my first assistant job here kind of got me in the conversation for head coaching jobs because, we came in and that team was a team that most people thought had run its course. Reggie and Mark Jackson, Rick Smits, the Davis brothers, it had kind of a down year the year before. And Larry Bird came in and rejuvenated it. And, I had a lot of responsibility on that staff, and that got me into some of those conversations.
They were asking on the pregame crew last night, Coach, that they had Derek Fisher and Austin Rivers in studio, and the host tossed one to Derek Fisher about, why do you think Rick Carlisle has been able to reach, such a rare number? And he threw out two words of consistency and authenticity. I'm curious, do you have, kind of core coaching principles that, maybe you walked into it with 2 decades ago? And if so, how have those evolved?
Well, I mean, those two things are very important. And it's interesting that, he mentioned that and you mentioned it. Derek Fisher was with us in Dallas for a relatively short time. It was the year after the championship. He came to us early in the year. He wasn't in training camp. He to me, he's what I would consider a Hall of Fame system player. You look at everything he did with the Lakers and all that. But it's interesting, yesterday there was a group of young corporate presidents that get together. It's like 10 guys, led by Asif Badeh, who is one of our courtside patrons at the Pacers. And those guys came in early, and I had them in the locker room. I showed them around the locker room. They were in my office. And one guy asked about my leadership style, and I use those two words. Those are the core things: is being authentic, truthful, and consistent. And so that's kind of how I've built it. Relationships with players are interesting because everyone is different. And there's a great saying that player, you can't treat every player the same, but you can give them the same attention. And I think that's a very important element as well. So, I've tried to do those things and been very fortunate with great owners and, great management teams. Kevin Pritchard's been has become a great trusted friend, and he's been phenomenal to work with, as has Chad and Ted. And so, we got a long way to go here.
And that's Rick Carlisle. Pacers have won 3 in a row here. It'll be the Raptors tomorrow night. Pelicans coming up on Friday as they conclude this homestand. I realize he's only been in the state for, less than 2 years, so I don't know if the interaction has even occurred. But have you come across Curt Cignetti at all in his brief time here in the state?
I haven't, but I'm, like everyone in Indiana, I mean, I'm an enormous admirer of what he's doing. And, there's a guy that has a basic, pretty simple plan. And I love his saying, production over potential. I just, to me that speaks so many volumes. And not only it's clear that not only is he a great football coach, but he's also a great relationship builder, and he's also a great businessman. You look at what they're doing in the portal, and certainly the support that they're getting, they must be getting for NIL right now. And I saw where, Mark Cuban was at the most recent game, and he's obviously a huge supporter. And so, this thing looks like it's, being built to last a very long time. And it's pretty awesome to see. But I look forward to meeting him sometime, and can't say enough things about what he's done. But they got one more game.
Amen to that. Last one. Did you happen to catch the opposing head coach press conference from last night, Joe Mazzulla, by any chance?
No, why?
He brought up the screen Pascal Siakam set there at the end of the game there, and maybe the legality of that screen.
He'll get over it.
Pacers 98, Celtics 96 last night. Coach, congrats on 1,000. We'll have Mark send that your way if you or Donna want to have that for the archives there. In all seriousness, hell of an accomplishment. Congrats on the win last night, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
I'd like to say one thing. If I had $1 for every call I disagreed with this year, I don't know if I'd still be doing this.
Fair enough.
You might have that Cuban money, right? Thank you, Coach.
Take care.
That's Rick Carlisle right there on the Payless Liquors hotline. If you missed the Joe Mazzulla post-game press conference, Mark, maybe we can dial that up again coming up here in a little bit there. Great work on the intro. I think Rick was a fan of it.
I think he loved it. I'm going to send that to the Pacers.
James Boyd right before that play saying, oh, boy.
I figured he'd hate it, but I'm like, hey, not every day you get to 1,000 wins.
It's like your grandma kissing you back in the day.
Hey, I just knew how it was going to go, man. I'm not new to this.
I knew how it was going.
He needs to be told that
Deserved it, right?
He needs a pep talk.
Deserved it quite well. Mark, actually, do you have that Joe Mazzulla presser? For those that have missed it, we got Taylor Tannenbaum coming up, talk some Miami Hurricanes here in about 10 minutes. But yes, this was Joe Mazzulla post-game last night. Short, sweet, to the point. I don't care what the questions are.
Joe, give yourself the chance to win, I guess. Take us through the last couple of sessions.
Illegal screen.
What'd you say?
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
What fell apart to get you guys behind, and then how were you able to get back?
Illegal screen.
What do you mean by that? What do you want people to know about?
Illegal screen.
Would you like to say anything else?
Illegal screen.
6 of them, right, Mark? Not one, not two.
He's
not
consistent.
I've never been in a press conference like that where it hits me like, oh boy, this is where it's going.
Yeah, that is funny.
And it kind of took her about 3 questions. Because, watching the play, he erupts. One of their assistants does erupt as well. But, and I cringed maybe for a hair. I was like, oh boy, don't call it. But then once they didn't call it, I kind of forgot about it. And clearly, Joe Mazzulla strikes me as a very, very unique individual.
Yeah, that's certainly a way to put it.
Never met the dude in my life, but he strikes me as quite something.
Hey, it's a championship-winning coach there.
Indeed. But the Pacers got the best of them last night, 98-96. Let's lead off the check down right there, Mark.
Big hole for Jonathan Taylor. There he goes again. 50, 40 down the far sideline.
All right, Pacers win last night. Pascal Siakam, the floater off the glass there. A little 2-man game that Rick Carlisle touched on, Andrew Nembhard and Pascal Siakam. And you thought initially maybe that ball slipped almost out of his hands?
Yeah, it looked like it kind of slipped, but hey, the bank was open late last night.
98-96. Again, that is their first win not getting to 100 points since November 2022. So you certainly don't see that very often in today's NBA, but the Pacers get it done. That's 3 in a row. And again, they'll have the Raptors coming up tomorrow night inside of Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I believe that's one of those WTHR simulcast games. Last night, Mark Dykton was cackling from Hendricks County, watching Aaron Rodgers crumble to the ground quite often. Mark, your favorite Rodgers failure from last night?
It had to be the pick 6 if that's the way he's going out. He tried to stop it. He knew it was going the other way if he didn't do it. So he put an effort in, but it wasn't enough.
Will that be the last time we see him throw a pass in the NFL?
I don't know. All I knew was oh boy, here we go. Here's the offseason again. He's going to play coy in the post game. He said, I need to take my time.
He's going to a cave.
We're going to begin another multiple months of will he or won't he again with Aaron Rodgers, just like he likes.
Did you enjoy the win for your Bears or the loss of Aaron Rodgers?
I know this answer already.
No, the Bears win without question. Not even close.
I don't know if I believe him. I think Mark's one of those hate fans.
No, I didn't have the visceral reaction that I had on Saturday night.
This gets back
but
to
I think you're underestimating the hate of the Packers.
This gets back to
That's
our
true.
IU Purdue combos we've had in recent years, and now it's being flipped. Obviously, we had the IU fan. Hey, are you enjoying? Do you respect Purdue's run? Are you enjoying Purdue's run? And now the flip has occurred. Is there any Purdue fan out there that's psycho enough to say, I want IU to lose Monday night more than I want my team to win the first Monday in April?
No, it was Saturday night for sure because I was a sicko yesterday and I actually tuned into some Milwaukee sports radio for S's and G's.
You got issues.
I know.
You need to look in the mirror. Hell of a defensive effort last night. If you went to bed 7-6 was the score at the start of the fourth quarter, and the final was 30-6. C.J. Stroud had what, 3 turnovers?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, because he had 2 lost fumbles and the pick.
And they
he
won
had
by 24.
5 fumbles. Yeah, it was rough.
Will Anderson Jr. and that defensive line absolutely wrecked Pittsburgh there. So now we have set the divisional round for this weekend. Saturday, it is the Bills, a slight road favorite at the number 1 seed Broncos. The 49ers is a touchdown underdog. They go to Seattle for a third time this season, playing the Seahawks. Sunday's 2 games starting at 3 o'clock. Be the other AFC game. That's the Texans traveling to Foxborough as a slight underdog to take on the Patriots. And then Mark's Bears as a home dog taking on the Rams. And Mark, the temps look frigid. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to be bone chilling, like 8 degrees.
Ooh, baby.
Sunday, kick time 6:30 for that one. All right, north of the border tonight, it'll be Indiana taking on Michigan State, 7 o'clock, 5.5-point underdog, the Hoosiers. And James Boyd, they need it. They need it badly. It is a resume right now that is lacking quality wins. This would be definitely that, particularly away from home. Right now, the resume lacks both stuff away from home and just substance. You can 2 birds with 1 stone tonight if you're able to pull off that upset.
And that is going to be quite the task because Michigan State's playing at a very high level. I believe only 2 losses this year, if I'm not mistaken. And they're led by one of the best coaches ever.
Yeah, typical Michigan State. Very balanced, rebounding their thing. That's been a question for Darren DeVries.
And Cohen Carr, boy.
That dude can fly.
Ooh.
Yeah. If I'm on IU, I'm saying, hey, man, I'm not getting on any poster tonight when he's in the open floor. Looking ahead to the national title, again, we'll talk more about it with Taylor Tannenbaum coming up here in a few minutes. Does anyone in the world out there care about Brooks Koepka leaving Live Golf to come back to the PGA Tour?
No, but it's sick that I thought of you immediately after I heard that news yesterday.
I did think of Kevin as well. I guess reading through it, I didn't understand why he would want to come back. Is it just to be part of the club again because the competition is a little bit better? Because from a money standpoint, I was like, well, if your whole thing from the jump was money, then why are you leaving?
Yeah, travel, I'd throw that in there, is very different.
Fair.
That is a very global
That's
Live
true.
Golf Tour. Different leadership of the PGA Tour. Brian Rolop, who a lot of people thought was going to take over for Roger Goodell in the NFL at some point. He comes over from the NFL. So, again, this is me, nerdy golfer, but I think it's a fascinating move. And for those that aren't following it totally, the PGA Tour basically has said to 4 live golfers, Koepka being one of them, the other being John Rahm, Cameron Smith, and who's my other one here?
Bryson, right?
Bryson, thank you. Major champion since 2022, giving them like an ultimatum. In the next 3 weeks, you have a decision. You can come back to the tour, and I believe the penalties for Brooks is he's got to donate $5 million to charity. He can't be involved in their equity program. I think that's kind of the other punishment there.
I'm with FedEx Cup, too, I thought.
Yeah, something like you can't benefit from the FedEx Cup bonuses. So that's kind of his punishment. But they're leaving the door open. And I'll be very curious to see if any of those guys decide to walk through that door. And I think it's very, very fascinating leadership, frankly, from Rolop in saying, let's try and unite again, but let's be stern about it here. So, I guess we got one more live event, right, up there in Westfield coming up this year. And
You'll be front and
Koepka
center for that one, I'm assuming.
will not be a part of that. Yeah. Shirt off last year with my crushers painted across my chest, Mark.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. They're fireballs. Is that what it was?
Yeah. You expect one of the other 3 to jump?
I was nerding out over some golf stuff yesterday. It sounds like their contracts might be a little different than Koepka. Like, not to get in the weeds with Koepka, but, like, that dude never even posted on social media about Liv. Like, it was purely did it for money, and now it's like, this was stupid. I hate it. I want to leave. And I don't know if the other 3 feel the same way. Plus, you got to think those 3 have some leverage right now, don't they?
You would think so.
Can't they go to Liv and say, about that? That needs one more comma. That needs one more zero right there.
It's Kurt Signetti special.
Yeah, seriously.
He's gained a lot of leverage. I feel like he gains leverage every day, getting more zeros on his checks.
Mark
he deserves it.
Roger Goodell in Northwest Indiana, was he Fair Oaks Farm?
Maybe. Yeah, we can dive into that a little bit later after Taylor or something.
Stop by the steel yard?
Things are still moving and grooving with Northwest Indiana and the Bears.
Picnic lunch at the Bricky Bowl right there for Roger Goodell.
Love the Bricky Bowl.
Taylor Tannenbaum, Miami Hurricanes chatter with the lead voice on the ACC Network. She joins us next.
JMV here for my friends John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Make sure your home is cozy and comfortable during these icy cold winter months. Need heating service? Tell them JMV sent you. If a repair is needed, Love will waive the $95 service fee. And should you need a new furnace, Love is a Heil Heating and Cooling dealer. Call Love today, 317-353-2141. Let Love and Heil take care of your home today. 317-353-2141. Tell them JMV sent you.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss of 5:30 p.m., stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
My name's Brian Windhurst, and I've seen a lot of good offense in my life. If you're looking to initiate some offense of your own against your high-interest credit card debt, I'm letting you know a SoFi personal loan might be the play. A SoFi personal loan could be quite the triple threat with low fixed rates, no fees required, and as soon as the same day funding. View your rate for a SoFi personal loan at SoFi.com/offense. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, NA member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply at SoFi.com/offense. NMLS 696891.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Your home for indie sports. Now with even more ways to listen.
Listen on air.
Online at 1075thefan.com.
And on our free app.
Stay connected to all things indie sports, including the latest news, show blogs, and catch up on what you've missed with our podcast.
We're never more than just a click away.
Download our app at Google Play and on the App Store. From your home for indie sports.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Taylor Tannenbaum, ACC Network, going to join us here in a minute. We'll talk the Miami Hurricanes with her. Of course, she used to call this market home, so we'll get some insight there from the Miami side of it and continue to keep you up to date on where things stand heading into Monday night. That line again, 7.5. Sounded like Indiana, clean bill of health, exiting the Peach Bowl there. You know, all in all, Indiana's been really healthy. You know, the Stephen Daly thing was obviously a freak.
Oh, I want to say that might be a direct result afterwards because I can only imagine Kurt Signetti saying, all of you, do not jump to high-five anybody.
Do not celebrate. But you look at the last 2 years, and, you know, maybe it's the shorter practice. I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much of it. But
I don't know. I think part of it is just you need a little bit of luck, too.
Sure.
You play a violent game.
Yeah, obviously need that. Just checking here. The line's climbing. 8.5 now for Indiana as they are favored over the Miami Hurricanes on Monday. Someone that will certainly be there and has been front and center for this Hurricane run. She does outstanding work over at the Worldwide Leader and the lead host for ACC Network. The great Taylor Tannenbaum joins us. Taylor, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning, friends. It's great to talk to you, and I'm so excited personally for this game coming up, but also just for the matchup itself. But I'm happy to be with you guys this morning.
Imagine 3 years ago, one of us saying to you, not only are you going to have a job at ESPN covering a team in the national championship, but the opponent is going to be the Indiana football program.
I would have laughed in your face, KB. I would have laughed in your face.
You covered Indiana, I'm going to guess sparingly, right? I mean, like, not to get in the weeds of, like, sports media coverage, but like, I'm going to guess, like, it wasn't maybe top of mind to make the trek down to Bloomington on a weekly basis back in your day at WTHR.
I'm not so sure it even cracked, like, the top 10 of things that were priority to cover in terms of sports in Indianapolis, and that's not necessarily a slight on Indiana football. It's just, like, what the reality was. And look, when I was there, it was during, you know, Tom Allen trying to turn this thing around, so there was some buzz. But, you know, COVID happened, and And then it was just kind of like, well, it's business as usual when it came to Indiana football. And, I went to a couple of Oak and Bucket games, and you were lucky if half the stadium was full in Bloomington. So to see the transformation, I think it tells you in this day and age in college football, the word investment is everything. And they invested in football, and you have results on the football field. And investing also means not just monetarily, but, finding the right person to lead your football program. And they certainly found that in Kurt Cignetti.
Taylor, I must say it was pretty, not shocking to me, but just funny to me to see you standing on the sidelines of the Miami-Ohio State game, and I'm looking at you next to Ray Lewis. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, that's such a crazy rise, and obviously I'm very happy for all your success. But getting back to the Miami team, I know the talk here is all about IU and the remarkable run they've been on, but can you kind of give us the, I guess, quick soliloquy on the remarkable run that Miami's been on, because it has not always been great vibes for that team, especially earlier in the year.
No, for sure. Well, first of all, congratulations to you, my friend, on your award. Well deserved.
Thank you.
And yeah, when you're on the Miami sideline, trust me, I didn't ever have doing television with Ray Lewis on my bingo card. Kind of like if you would have asked me 3 years ago if this were the championship matchup, I would have told you were crazy. But as for Miami, look, it's in stark contrast to Indiana historically in terms of football, because like this right now is where Miami expects to be every single year. And it's funny because when they joined the ACC in 2004, like the expectation was this, to be competing for conference championships, to be competing for national championships. But that's when they started to go the other direction after winning 5 national championships, and then they lost in that 2003 Fiesta Bowl to Ohio State, and it kind of just sent them on this decline. So for years and years and years, Miami's just been riding on the brand and hoping the brand can get back to being what it is. And 4 years ago, they made the decision down there in Coral Gables to, again, hire a head coach that they felt like best suited the program, and that was their alum, Mario Cristobal, who left an Oregon team that was coming off of a 10-win season, and it was a slow burn. It wasn't necessarily instant success, like went 5-7 in his first season, and then the next year there was a winning record, but there were some mistakes made, i.e. the Georgia Tech game most specifically, which I sidelined, where they didn't just take a knee late and turn the ball over, and Georgia Tech wins. And, you're questioning if this is going in the right direction, but patience was key when it came to Miami. And the biggest thing about Miami is, to me, the balance of their roster is, just north of 50% of their starts this season come from transfers. And they're important guys like Carson Beck and C.J. Daniels Jr. and Keelan Marion. They're on the offensive side, they're receivers. And then, defensively, like Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas, like their secondary, those have been key components. But a lot of this is homegrown talent, right? And guys that they recruited from one of the hottest beds in all the country in South Florida and Miami, and who believed in Mario Cristobal's vision back 4 years ago and said, I want to be a part of something bigger than myself, kind of like these IU players are, and did with SIG. And here they are in the national championship. So it's been a great run to get back to here, like 23 years since they've played in a national championship and lost that one to Ohio State. And this year, it started in November, people really counted them out. Started as national championship contenders, a bit of a lull, but that's what the CFP is all about. It gives people chances, even if you lose a few.
So looking at this matchup, it's definitely fair to say that Miami is the underdog, not historically, but in this game. So how much do you think they are embracing that part of it and trying to obviously capture a national championship and spoil sort of the ride that we've been on here in Indianapolis?
Well, I want to preface this by saying I am a Florida State grad, so covering Miami this heavily and being so invested is definitely different. But I'm also from South Florida, so it's cool to see, people I care about be so hyped up about this. I think they embraced the underdog role. I kind of hated the fact that they were favored against Ole Miss because they were underdogs when they went to A&M. They were underdogs certainly against the defending national champ in Ohio State. I personally think KB, I think you said 8 is now the line coming in.
8.5.
Yeah, I think that's crazy just based on what we have seen in the last 7 games, for that to be, the difference. But that's just me. I think they're okay being counted out. They have been all season. They were after they lost November 1st to SMU. They were counted out against A&M, counted out against Ohio State, even against Ole Miss. If you're a college football fan and you love a good story like Ole Miss, great story, losing their head coach. Indiana, incredible story, greatest turnaround ever in college football history. No one's rooting for little old Miami if you're not a Miami fan, really, because people like to hate on the U. So I think they're okay with it. I think they're cool with being in this position. I personally think 8.5 is crazy work, but then again, spot the ball and see what happens. There's a reason Indiana has been so dominant this season.
Little old Miami. Boy, times have changed.
Indeed.
They got skyscrapers in Bloomington now.
7:50 on Monday night. It will be Miami and Indiana for a national championship. That's the voice of Taylor Tannenbaum. Of course, used to work here in Indy and is a mega star over at ESPN and is the lead voice on the ACC network. Okay, Taylor, I've got a buddy of mine that I used to work with, works now in the Miami athletic department. He just texted me over the weekend. He's like, hey, let's look at the Ohio State games. We played better against Ohio State than Indiana did if you really want to, splice things out. You brought up those receivers, Marion, Daniels, obviously Malachi Toney, and then those defensive ends, from Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain. Which do you think, maybe should fear Indiana more? What that defensive line has done, or maybe just the unique skill sets of those wideouts, particularly Toney, who just amazing what he's doing as a 18-year-old.
For me, certainly in that respect, the matchup lies with Fernando Mendoza and that really incredible IU offensive line who should have won the Joe Moore Award. Eric McLean, my analyst on AC Seattle, talks about it all the time. He's like, it's ridiculous that they didn't win that award. Look, Miami's a great O-line too, but Indiana's is really, really good. It's Fernando Mendoza against the pressure and that front of the Miami Hurricanes. And the numbers maybe don't speak in the last game because it's what have you done for me lately against Ole Miss with what that D-line for Miami can do because Trinidad Chambliss is that special. They only racked up 1 sack. But Ruben Bain, a Miami native, and Akeem Mesidor will hunt. And Ahmad Moten in the middle, he kind of anchors that defensive line. He's been banged up a little bit. Apparently he's been a full go at practice this week. I dug up some numbers with my researcher, Drew, yesterday at ESPN, and in the 4 games in Big Ten play that IU had where they scored 30 points or less, that's where Fernando Mendoza was pressured most. It was Iowa, it was Penn State, it was the regular season Oregon game, and it was the Indiana-Ohio State game in the Big Ten championship. And the Big Ten championship, he was pressured just north of 58% of the time. And that's when they scored 30 points or less. And Miami brings the most pressure of any team that they've faced this season, Indiana. So those are some of the numbers that we kind of, worked up yesterday. So that's something I'm watching because Fernando Mendoza is special, but so is that Miami defensive line. And those 2 guys, this means something to them, just like it does for a lot of these players. So I'm gonna be watching that matchup very, very closely on Monday night.
So the last one I'll have for you, Taylor, and it's not that serious, maybe kind of serious. How aware do you have to be of Michael Irvin on the sidelines? Because I feel like it can be a great moment, but also a dangerous moment depending on his reaction to any play.
Yeah, he's all over the place, that's for sure. And I was kind of laughing about it. I have a show today, and it's like, which has the better, if you were to compete with alums in terms of not just in totality football alum, but just you have Mark Cuban on the IU side and you have Michael Irvin on the Miami side. And I was like, Mark Cuban puts his money where his mouth is, and that's his support. And he's obviously shows up, in person too. But Irv, I don't know what his pockets look like when it comes to you, but he pays in passion, that man.
Amen to that.
And I'm sure he'll have a belt in hand. We'll see if he's able to use it at the end of the game. But it's really remarkable when you look down the Miami sideline at some of these games. And, Edge was there. He joined our alternate broadcast last week. Reggie Wayne's been there, so I know those are guys who are probably getting smacked from the Indiana side of things. And yeah, Irv is a different breed. I'll say that.
I can't wait for the inside Michael Irvin celebrations with Taylor Tannenbaum. It's gonna be great. Great television.
It's so good.
Taylor, we'll send you off on this. Certainly the weather is not something you miss by any means. Is there one Indianapolis establishment that maybe you have missed in your couple of years away from the Nap?
Well, I miss my people and you guys and the family that you create in the media world. I don't think people realize how great it really is in Indiana. But the other day I was at home and it was kind of gross out, and I was like, man, I wish I had cluster truck right now.
Look at that.
You listen, I was like, I'm thinking about that business plan, and should I try to implement it? Because I live in Connecticut now. I moved about a year ago to Connecticut, so I was like, I need some cluster truck, like mac and cheese, a quesadilla, and a salad. Like, I would love just the smorgasbord that you can get from cluster truck. So
James Boyd, the hat I'm wearing right now.
You have the hat on, cluster truck.
I have the cluster truck hat on, Taylor.
No
and
way.
Hey, you want to be a little more jealous? Every Tuesday, in about 30 minutes, the great Evan Sherrill will be out front of our building giving us cluster truck. We are partners with them. They do great work. The food is amazing. So how about that right there, Taylor Tannenbaum?
Listen, that was an unpaid promo.
It was.
Perfect timing. How about that?
Big time. Well, if Cluster Truck cut that, that'll be on their marketing right here for the year 2026. You're a star. Thank you for making time for us this week. Have a blast. I think this is a really cool, just whatever, sports job moment for you. So have a great time, and we'll certainly be watching.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Taylor Tannenbaum right there, Payless Liquors Hotline. Again, the lead host on the ACC network. And frankly, she's over many networks or many other sports.
There's a lot of women's basketball, men's basketball.
Over there on ESPN. I saw her doing the Frozen Four hockey sideline. Do you call it sidelines for hockey?
I actually don't know. That's something I'll have to follow up with her about. But boy, she is all over the place and deservedly so. Very good at her job.
Like the Miami Insight, I think it was needed to get the other side of it. Here again, this line continues to climb 8.5 now for the Hoosiers as they are favored. We'll sprinkle in some more of the Chris Ballard combo that we hit on earlier. Some audio from Mario Cristobal with some high praise there for Fernando Mendoza and the IU defense, and much more on the Pacers' 3-game win streak. We'll do it all here. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Mark Dykton on a Tuesday. The biggest sale ever in celebration of the new year, courtesy of Zero Res Indy. Zero Resified, it is that time of year. Start your freshest year yet, clean 2025, right out of your home. 3 rooms starting at $119, plus a free hallway. Take 15% off regularly priced services, air ducts, upholstery, area rugs, tile, hardwood, and more. And Lord knows the Bowen family needs it, with plenty of spills on that carpet. Visit ZeroResIndy.com or call 317-388-5141. Tell them the fan sent you.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and a 96% customer satisfaction rating, the highest in the industry, it's no wonder. Here are real stories, real results from satisfied Window Nation customers.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Our Window Nation consultant, Daniel, was a 10 out of 10. They would not give up until they designed windows with safe, pure, and efficient material. Window Nation is amazing, legit, and affordable.
Window Nation's highly durable, energy-efficient, customizable windows are built to last a lifetime. Right now, get 4 windows free with every 4 you buy, plus no interest for 2 years. But hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a fast in-home free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION. 866-90-NATION.
JMV here from my friends at Premier Weight Loss. Thank you so much. In the past year and a half, I am down nearly 80 pounds. I have never in my life felt this good. Now, for me, it's all about trying to body shape, and I continue to feel better as I do this, and you will too. And know this, if you're thinking about losing the weight, and maybe you have this as a New Year's resolution, the month of January is perfect for you because Premier Weight Loss, they're offering new patients a free first month of membership in January. In fact, medication prices have dropped. PWL's most common GLP-1 prescription now costs just $275 per month, with other medication options as low as $200 per month. So if you have a New Year's resolution to lose the weight, no matter the reason, do it right now and get started for the month of January absolutely free. That's PWLND.com. Tell them JMV sent you. PWLND.com. Again, that's PWLND.com today.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, 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 Royal Pin.
Looking for fun the whole family will love? Head to Royal Pin Entertainment, Indy's home for non-stop fun. Bowl your heart out with family and friends on the modern lanes. Challenge your friends to an epic battle of laser tag or a more casual round of mini golf. Dive into the expansive arcade filled with classic and cutting-edge games. Royal Pin has something for everyone. Kids stay entertained, parents kick back in style, and everyone leaves smiling. With multiple locations around Indianapolis, your next family night out is closer than you think. Plan your visit at royalpin.com.
Set 'em up, knock 'em down, send them flying, spinning round.
Royal Pin Entertainment, where Indy comes to play.
Royal Pin. Bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Smalls here. Life is full of choices, some big, some small. And when you choose an H&R Block Tax Pro, you're choosing the largest network of tax expertise to be in your corner. For when your big ambitions need help with the small details. For when your six figures come from 6 different places. For when your gaming stream becomes your revenue stream. For when your business's year one needs 70 years of tax know-how. At H&R Block, they've seen it all. And they're here to help you make the most out of your money for life outside the box.
If you're feeling off your game, low T could be the cause. Your local Game Day Men's Health can help. Our licensed medical team offers fast in-house testing with results on your first visit. We're leaders in testosterone therapy, erectile dysfunction, and peptide therapies, and we'll build a personalized plan to help you get back in the game. Start today at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Search online for your nearest Game Day Men's Health location to schedule an appointment, where every day is game day.
Hey, it's JMV. Later on this afternoon at 3, former Hoosier Doug Cruzan, a former Hurricane quarterback, also spent time here in Indy. Steve Walsh joins the show. Don't miss a second later on today at 3.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Well, enjoyed the Rick Carlisle combo, Taylor Tannenbaum, both of those up on the podcast. Hit a lot of different things with Rick Carlisle there in the 8 o'clock hour. Some, I don't know, maybe funny back and forth in the Joe Mazzulla post-game press conference from last night. And plenty of praise for Curt Cignetti from afar there with Rick Carlisle. One thing I saw over the weekend, I want to get your guys' thoughts on, and I don't know, this is maybe a little bit more of.
Wait, say that again one more time, Mark.
He'll get over it.
I mean, at one point, Mark, you're going to have to montage all of the Rick Carlisle snippets.
Oh, there's plenty of good ones.
Oh, my gosh. Just absolutely
I want to see
glorious.
their faces.
I want to see their faces. You know, I acknowledge the question. I don't respect the question. I believe he said to me one time. On that.
There's a couple I've just never edited. Then like I can't air those until I edit them because there's some ones that
Was that me asking about his Halloween costume, Mark? When he said that, he'll acknowledge it, but he won't respect the question. I saw this from Brian Curtis. James, you might be familiar with Brian Curtis. He's one of the sports media gurus out there, and I thought he had a really interesting comment in regards to the quarterback interview that we see on the field after games. 90% of NFL games, the winning quarterback gets interviewed after the game. And he brought up, and it was in relation to the Bills-Jags game, that he would like to see the interview turn into, usually what's 2 to 3 questions.
Yeah.
One of those questions, you hand said player iPad and you watch a play from the game. And so for Josh Allen's case, you would have handed him the iPad of the throw to Brandon Cooks, and he walks you through that play. I mean, how many times in a post-game press conference do you ask Daniel Jones about a particular play?
Yeah.
Pretty much every game, right?
Like often.
Good or bad. Obviously, the on-field interviews I get is primarily going to be good because, that's the winning quarterback there. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. It's just like a little change there. And again, some people out there might be like, Kevin, I don't care at all. It's a stupid, point to even bring up. But I don't know. The post-game interview can get a little tiresome, I think.
Yeah.
And, even last night for the Pacers, if you could have provided, if Robbie Hummel could have had an iPad there and said, hey, Pascal, because I think when you watch the play, I think it ignites some things going on in your brain that maybe when you just are asked about it and you're not watching the play itself, you don't think of.
You probably don't see a lot of it, because often what will happen when we ask a player about it after the game or a particular play, they'll say, well, I haven't seen it yet. And I have done it in the locker room sometimes where it's like, oh, you haven't? Well, here's my phone. Because in our world, it's like this has been played 30 times, but I'm not thinking about, post-game shower, family, whatever. And contrary to popular belief, not every player runs to their phone. So I would like that to be an element. I think that's something that could be worked out. You have to have it like ready-made and very quickly get it done and make sure the reception is good when you hit play. It's not buffering. But along those lines, I think something like that could also work for the Bears game. The throw on 4th down from Caleb Williams.
It doesn't have to be the final play of the game.
Yeah, just a play.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the Josh Allen play was right before the 2-minute warning. The Caleb Williams play you bring up was 5 minutes ago in the game?
Yeah, and I think that ultimately I enjoy the broadcast better when I'm able to perhaps learn something other than like the typical one play at a time, 1 week at a time, next man up. Like we hear all that stuff all the time. But if you can actually tell me why a play worked, so I better understand it as a viewer, that would be a cool element. Because even a quick example of that I thought was kind of when Tom Brady was talking about how to throw a football in the cold or whatever.
In the wind.
And he's like, that was wind, I'm sorry. Where he's like, you got to hold it with a different grip and make sure that you get, your thumb at this angle. That was cool television to me. Now, it might be nerdy to some people.
No, nerdy for sure, but fascinating for me being a loser.
Hey, I liked it.
Yeah, I know. I all of a sudden thought to myself, boy, can we get a windy day? And all of a sudden I send Rosie out on a little, 9 route and see if she can, handle my spiral here. Maybe I need to get a vortex. I used to love how those things whistled through the wind there.
There you go.
AFC team that will not win the Super Bowl. 4 left. The one you least believe in.
AFC team that is least likely to win the Super Bowl.
Buffalo at Denver. Houston at New England.
Houston.
I might go New England.
Mark, did you watch the fourth quarter last night?
I did. I also watched C.J. Stroud play, and I was like, if they played anybody else right now, they'd probably be getting smoked.
But if C.J. Stroud just doesn't fumble, like he coughed it up 3 times and they won by 23 points. Yeah. 24 points. That defense is it 2000 Ravens?
Pretty damn good.
And Stroud is
it's up there.
Trent Dilfer?
It's up there. But I will say, to that point, Drake May had a pretty shaky first game in the playoffs. Do you trust him in his second year to get you all the way to the Super Bowl? Boy, that's a tall task. He's capable of it. I think that team is capable of it, but I would pick them to be my most iffy about. The Broncos, I guess, have had some success recently with Bo Nix, but maybe I should have picked them too. I don't know.
That home field advantage for Denver, though, I feel like that's a tipping point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like you could flip a coin because, Mark, in Vegas right now, they've got Buffalo favored. I mean, I think you could flip a coin.
For that matchup?
For the 4 AFC teams.
Oh, yeah, probably. Because,
like, out west, I feel like, and again, or out west, sorry, the NFC, I feel like every time we write them off, but at some point the injuries have got to end San Francisco's season. Like, they would be the one team, and Vegas has them as a touchdown underdog. But in the AFC, man, I have no idea.
So is the only Super Bowl winning quarterback left Matthew Stafford? Yeah, I believe
Purdy has got there, of course.
Yeah.
And, Allen would be the one in the AFC that is the most decorated of the
Boy, it is
four.
wide open this year.
Yeah. I mean, Bo Nick's still going for his first playoff win, right? I mean, he's only been in the league for 2 years. But I just,
Tough grader you are, Kevin Bowen.
I'm just saying for the one seed.
The one seed not good enough for you? That should be a default win right there.
A little bit more substance. Granted, that Denver defense might have something to say about, 2000 Ravens. All right, coming up 9 o'clock hour, much more on the Chris Ballard combo from last week and Mario Cristobal with some high praise from Fernando Mendoza. Those two went to the same high school. We'll hit on that as well.
Query and Company.
He was the 89 Heisman runner-up, arguably the greatest player in the history of Indiana football over 4 years. Anthony Thompson joins us.
When he said, yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
I said, this guy's different. He's an assassin. And he knew that he needed to change the culture. I would have loved to play for him because he's just so confident. He's not cocky or arrogant. He's confident what he knows what he can do.
Query and Company, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, JMV, thinning hair this year. Grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
March starts here. The Barbasol Horizon League Basketball Championships with NCAA tournament bids on the line March 8th through 10th. Tickets and more at horizonleague.com/Indy.
Guys and ladies, you made New Year's resolutions to get back in shape. Want real results in 2026? Go to Synergenics and Low T Center for a free men's TRT test and $200 off the women's hormone test. Book at getmyhealthfix.com now.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Here are just a few hot buys going on in January. Lift chairs starting at $5.99. Lazy Boy recliners starting at $4.99. Queen Tempur-Pedic mattresses, $71 per month. Smith Brothers sofas, $18.99. Up to 25% off all outdoor furniture. Reclining sofas starting at $6.99. Sale ends Monday. Free delivery. Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking with hypnosis guaranteed with no irritability and no cravings. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis programs are Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis at 5:30. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis at 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's JMV for the best in realty. Mark Dietel, Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. Again, that number, 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com today. So Neil in Indianapolis had already moved, listed his old house with an agent friend for about 60 days. Not happy, decided to evaluate the Mark Dietel marketing plan and switched. To his relief, after about 15 days on the market, the Mark Dietel team sold his home as is for the price that was necessary. Mark Dietel, the only real estate expert I trusted. Right today.
The post-crib assembly press conference brought to you by Progressive.
Michael, you had some trouble putting the crib together today. What went wrong?
You know, those instructions can be tough, and, well, you saw the outcome.
Were you upset when your wife pulled you and called in the backup?
No, I mean, the baby needs a crib to sleep in, so whatever it takes.
You've got a changing table to put together next. It's got a lot of drawers. What's your comment?
You know what? We're done here.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. things people love.
Live from the Hubler.com studios, you're listening to 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. WIBC HD2, WIBC HD3, and WFNI Indianapolis.
Tuesday and Quinn and Company recapping Pacers Celtics. And what's the secret sauce for Indiana that might be the difference against Miami? We'll explain. Fun begins noon to 3 on The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Hey, I thought we talked about this last night through text that you weren't going to say ball holder too many times, and I wouldn't say shell coverage. I thought we had a deal.
I didn't agree to that. We did have a text. I didn't know you were going to share our text. You took a screenshot. I thought there was a little bit of a nest. Well, we're in violation, but no, I didn't agree to that, and I don't like your word shell. I think it's lazy, like I say in my text here, but look, ball holder, it's a more fun word to say. It's more accurate. People understand it. J.J. Watt loved ball holders. He loved that. He preferred, quarterbacks hold their balls. Hold the ball. But, like I said, you can't have a lot of them tonight.
You got to be singular on the ball. Right.
Singular on the ball. Yeah.
Holders is fine. But
correct.
I'm not asking J.J. Watt if he likes a ball holder. I'm not doing it.
I'll ask him. Ben Roethlisberger was a ball holder. He held it forever and made a ton of plays. But I'm just saying, that's the point. If you get greedy tonight and call a bunch of ball holders, Hunter and Anderson are getting home. So you got to mix in these short passes.
Well, first of all, I've heard there's a lot of ball talk going on here tonight. Ball holders, holding balls, a lot going on here.
Will Ferrell?
No, J.J. Watt.
That was J.J. Watt?
J.J. Watt and Ben Roethlisberger were the guests on the Manningcast. I thought it was probably the best Manningcast.
Will Ferrell. I thought that sounded like Will Ferrell.
I thought that was one of the best Manningcasts they've had in quite a while. It was great.
Gosh. I have enjoyed the J.J. Watt broadcasting experience. I enjoyed him on the calls in some games. I've enjoyed listening to him, the few snippets I've seen on with McAfee as well. Yeah, I think he does a good job.
It was funny. They said he talked about it last night. He said they had to convince him to do it because he's like, I don't want to do it. And they're like, just give it a year, see if you like it. And he's like, I love it now.
And he was in the studio, right, for 1 year, and then they brought him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now with Iron Eagle, he does good work there. Yeah, Roethlisberger, you could take that joke a lot of different ways. I didn't watch Manningcast last night. I
missed a good one.
I was
really
obviously
good.
Watching a lot of Pacers, and I thought the Peacock broadcast was pretty good. I thought Robbie Hummel did a nice job there. Michael Grady was, he was literally alone at the table across from the scores table there with, they had Brian Scalabrine close to the Celtics bench and then Hummel close to the Pacers bench. Kind of a unique broadcast there for the Pacers as they have won now 3 in a row. It'll be the Raptors coming up tomorrow night. We didn't get to this last week, James. It might have actually happened after the show ended. Quentin Nelson with another All-Pro. So what is that, 6 for him in his career?
Yeah, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro. He was second-team All-Pro this past season. So 6 in his first 8 years and 8 for 8 when it comes to Pro Bowls in his career.
I think you can go ahead and make the bust.
It's time.
I think he has done enough. That is a Hall of Famer, and that is likely. The only reason I pause is because the voting's changed, but that is likely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, probably the greatest offensive lineman in Colts history. I would think. I would have to look up maybe some people from the olden days, but I can't imagine that many have
fair statement.
That sort of resume. Now, obviously, I would think that when it comes to Quentin Nelson, who hates to talk about his accomplishments, he would much rather be talking to us about postseason success. One thing missing from his resume.
Is he due for an extension? I feel like
I would think so.
I feel like he might be in that group.
Because he signed an extension in 2022. So, yeah, he's probably coming up on a new deal.
Does Jonathan Taylor have leverage for a contract extension? He certainly did at Halloween.
I'm not sure. I think he's still a very good player and productive player, but I guess it depends on what you think your championship window is.
It says Quentin Nelson is heading into the final year of his contract, so he's a unrestricted free agent in 2027.
Yeah, so I should probably get my pre-write done on an extension from Quentin Nelson.
You got several of those, Mark. You got several of those heading in. I think Taylor's one of them, too, heading into the last year of their deal. And, I mean, giving a running back a third contract, boy, that's about as scary. That's scary to me, honestly. But then again, Taylor, is he a little bit more Derrick Henry? And just he can defy some of the odds, obviously, late in the season. Just no rushing success whatsoever. I mean, it's amazing to continue to go back and look at those numbers. And Ballard really harped on that last Thursday, James. I mean, that was, I thought Ballard had maybe 3, and feel free to agree, disagree. I thought he had 3 roster team-related focuses for next season. The first one was pretty clear. We have to get younger and faster on defense. Okay, put that into a category. I'd say the second one he mentioned, a little bit more abstract, a little bit harder to maybe, just plug and play personnel. We have to handle adversity better. We have to get deeper. We have to, have a little bit more depth. We have to be able to win late season games better. And then the last one is we have to run it when we want to run it. And it can't just be we have to have Daniel Jones healthy and playing quarterback. Because in all likelihood, Daniel Jones will have some limitations on him when he gets back in the lineup. Like, I don't think he's coming back and just running bootleg galore like he did first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, my whole thing is just how do you tweak this roster, get this team together to a point where you can confidently say they're competing for something in 2026? What's going to be different? Because you can't change a whole lot because you told us you felt that you were kind of close during that, 2-month start to the season. But also, Chris Ballard I'm talking about, you said that top 4 teams don't lose their last 7 games of the year. So it's very interesting to see how they kind of come out of all of this and where they go from here, because it does feel like the roster is kind of stagnant. You can make some changes, but ultimately, I don't know if there's going to be big enough changes to see tangible results or anything different come 2026.
Well, isn't that another fascinating decision now with Ballard coming back, that now you have a guy like Quentin Nelson and Jonathan Taylor both entering the final years of the contract? Isn't that going to mean that he's making some long-term financial decisions for the Colts once again? So not only are you probably figuring out Daniel Jones' situation, now you're looking at Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson on a guy that's entering a 10th season that is still up in the air as far as how much longer he's going to stay here?
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, Mark, and I think it's a really complicated point. And it gets a little bit more into, I don't know if I want to get into like a Sauce Gardner, trade, whatever, rewind today. But that's where, if I'm Carlisle or say Gordon, I think I maybe would have inserted myself a little bit more there. Mm-hmm. Making the Sauce Gardner trade is not just acquiring a 25-year-old cornerback on a very reasonable contract who, plays a premium position and has been an all-pro in this league. There were lots of tentacles to that trade that were not just Sauce Gardner, the player, i.e. your quarterback commitment.
What a word. Tentacles.
The quarterback commitment past 2026. Not just Daniel Jones for 1 year. And James, I know that's something you've brought up a lot. Daniel Jones in the long term. That was something Ballard committed to on Thursday.
Yeah, Chris Ballard saying that he's their long-term answer is, I think, quite honestly, a bit delusional.
That's the second most wild thing he said, aside from the Juju Shimmer thing.
Yeah, because
it's delusional, but I shrug my shoulders to say that's what happens when you make the Gardner trade.
Right. No, I agree, but I just wanted to basically push back on that because I think he wants to instill that confidence into the franchise, into the team, and obviously anybody wants to find stability when it comes to the most important position in football, but I just can't get with the idea that a guy who's only played 1 full season through his first 7, I believe, will suddenly be healthy enough. Not good enough. I think Daniel Jones proved he was a good player in Shane Steichen's offense, but can you hold up for a full season? I'm not banking on that because you just haven't done it. And we have over a half decade of a sample size to base this off of.
Yeah, Mark, going back to that point that you made a few minutes ago, there is an element of like you have to let these people do their jobs because you're employing them. But again, you're asking Chris Ballard to make financial calls on pretty much everybody within the organization. I mean, yes, everybody that he has either drafted or signed and or re-signed. These are all his.
Guys that are on the side of the stadium.
Right. And
centerpieces.
Pillar pieces that he has had an affinity for to some degree, throughout his 9 years. And, he didn't take that question at all. I tried to toss it to him late in the presser of, given no first-round pick, given the cap commitments that are likely to be going to Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce, will you part ways with any veterans? Because, again, the Michael Pittman Jr. cap hit of $29 million, there's no chance he's playing on that in 2026, at least is my thought there. So, I don't know. Maybe you just snap your fingers and give it a shimmer.
The number one question she asked me, do you still have your juju or shimmer to do this?
I would have said, what are you going to do with Quentin Nelson and Jonathan Taylor and then Daniel Jones and all these other financial decisions? That would have been my number one.
Next time Maddie and I are on the couch, we're kind of getting into the, the nitty gritty of a big combo.
I know what was you shook your body all of a sudden. I know what you were describing there for a second.
Oh man!
Hey, if you guys could just show some maturation for a second
man,
here.
Nah, that ain't on us,
now.
bro. That ain't on us.
Oh, man, you guys are laughing at me like I'm Jeff over here making a comment.
Dude, we're on the couch and then
Jeff will be back tomorrow, by the way, for those that have asked.
Nah, don't try to change the subject now.
Go ahead.
When Maddie and I are on the couch.
Boy, I could feel the lights lowering when he said that, Mark, setting the mood.
No, the lights are rising, man. The sun is out. People can see you in studio, James Boyd, finally on this camera.
I'm not just teeth and eyes, people.
Yeah, when we're having, whatever, an intense conversation, financial related, parenting related. Can I squeeze in one more golf trip related? Maybe I'll ask, do you still have the juju, the shimmer?
Oh boy,
house lights are coming up real quick on that one.
You imagine, man? Every time I hear it, I just think it's more ridiculous than the first time.
And they volunteered that.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you need to be like,
I'm all
getting
for
your
candor.
arm twisted in the wrong direction before you release that information.
I'm all for candor, but you know what? It's a little bit scarier if I'm a Colt fan. The fact that I heard that.
But hey,
I mean this in all seriousness. And again, maybe it's a bigger conversation for a different day.
When you've got NFL immunity, I guess you can say whatever you want. You're getting brought back anyway.
Touche. But as we start to get into more of the Carly Irsay Gordon era, I'm looking at a couple things right now that are giving me pause. One, the unquestioned green lighting of the Sauce Gardner trade without looking at all the tentacles. She said no hesitation on that. And then
no.
And then two, the first question, the top question you ask your general manager with one of the most failing resumes we've seen in the NFL through 9 years. You ask him about juju and shimmer. And I'll say the analogy that I mentioned in the 7 o'clock hour. James, that's a question that Pittsburgh, the Rooney family, asked Mike Tomlin today. That's frankly a question you ask an aging coach.
Yeah.
5 years down the road, maybe Herb Simon asked that of Rick Carlisle. The Duke AD asked that of Coach K. The North Carolina AD asked that of Roy Williams. Accomplished individuals.
Yeah.
Do you
won
still
something.
have the belief, the confidence to do this? If you're questioning Chris Ballard's confidence, then you should probably be questioning everything. Right?
Yes. Absolutely. Why not question everything? What you put forth has not been satisfactory, or at least not enough for this fan base. Now, for the ownership, they stuck with him for another year. Granted, he is going into the final year of his contract for the first time in his tenure without an extension. So perhaps that confidence will be reevaluated after the season, after 2026. But boy, I'll tell you, that was not, again, words of encouragement for this fan base.
But then you also can't send him into the final year of his contract when you have major financial decisions like Nelson and Taylor and Daniel Jones, and you want this, lame duck GM to all of a sudden make these financial decisions.
That's basically what he is.
Yeah,
that's a very good point, Mark.
Yeah, but yeah, he's.
I mean, that's insane.
He's earned the right to be a lame duck GM. He's earned the right to be fired. I guess let's start there. But if you have to go next on the list, then he's earned the right to be. No, you can't give the man an extension.
Right, but you're allowing
giving the
him,
man a contract extension is like me asking you two to grow up.
Well, he said in the past he doesn't want to hamstring the organization, but if he's entering his final year as GM and he's making financial decisions that are long-term past this 2026, 2027 upcoming season, aren't you technically hamstringing the organization?
I do think he hamstrung the organization. Now, granted, at the time, Daniel Jones was healthy. Sauce Gardner obviously was healthy. These were things that he could not have really predicted. But now that we see the totality of the decision, the effects of the injuries, and where you all stand going into 2026, or really just at the end of 2025, yes, that the franchise has been hamstrung. And I don't appreciate Kevin taking shots at us, Mark. We're good students.
Asking for simple maturation from Mark Dykton, who is 40 years old.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm very mature.
Yes.
Thank you.
I didn't wish ill on Aaron Rodgers last night whatsoever.
I heard you chanting blue tent when Rodgers was on the ground.
Ayahuasca.
Did the blue tent blow over last night, or was that a different game I saw? Was that Eagles 49ers I saw?
I don't know.
A lot of things blew over in Philadelphia.
Oh, boy. Are we done with the coaching carousel? Tomlin, Sirianni? Are we done?
From all accounts, LaFleur is working on a contract extension, and from the little bit of Milwaukee and Wisconsin radio I listen to, fans are ticked.
Just stop right there. Say that again.
Listening to Milwaukee and Wisconsin sports radio?
I mean, that's hate.
That's real hate.
That's real hate.
I will say this, though.
That's the Purdue fan.
I poured another drink of scotch to listen to that.
That's...
Speaking of Green Bay.
That's low, Mark.
I think it's crazy that their president, his name is Ed Policy. What a last name to be making some decisions.
Wait, is that real?
Yes. The president of the Green Bay Packers, his name is Ed Policy. He's the guy who decides if Matt LaFleur gets an extension or not. I thought it was a typo at first, but nope, Ed Policy. So, I don't know. Could you imagine if the Colts GM last name was Policy? Chris Policy?
Honestly, it sounds like a principal at like an elementary school in a movie. You know, Mr. Policy's coming down the hallway. All of a sudden, you just start freaking out over there. I thought Mario Cristobal had some really insightful comments, not only on Fernando Mendoza, but also the Indiana defense. We'll get to that maybe coming up here at 9:30 as well. Again, that line starting to climb a little bit, 8.5 last I saw. Did you check any of the secondary ticket market, if it's moved at all?
I did not. Maybe because I just know I'm too broke to really make that decision.
Did I see Holders going?
I think he is going. I have to.
We got to have him on tomorrow. I was going to say, let's give him the week off. But
yeah, no, I think he's going.
Miami grad, for those unfamiliar.
Yeah, but I think he's a Miami fraudulent grad because I didn't see any Miami gear pretty much all season until they were into the college football playoff and had won a few games. So we can ask him about that tomorrow. I think he's kind of, faking the funk there.
$32.55 on Vivid Seats.
For one ticket. Ticket, as you say.
Section 305.
Shout out to Miami.
End zone. Yeah, exactly. End zone view here. $3,000, $255.
So when you went to the national championship last year, granted, obviously Notre Dame didn't win, but what was the best part about the experience? Was it cool to actually be there in person?
It was. I mean, I've started to, it took me about 9 months to get over it, but I would say it's just kind of waking up in that city and the build up until kickoff.
Okay.
Obviously.
So how up and early are you? Are you like getting up? Well, we're up at 7. I'm getting breakfast. We're out all day.
I did the show from the Airbnb.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I did the show Monday.
You lugged that big thing through the airport, like the the radio thing or whatever?
I know. I always get a lot of the Comrex. I always get a lot of looks with that.
Oh yeah, man. You ain't get on the hey TSA. Check him.
I know, but I would say it's that, and obviously the game itself. I mean, certainly Notre Dame got, the second and third quarter was ugly, but that opening drive, and then honestly at the end, I mean, I know a lot of people fell asleep, but I mean they were 1 third down stop away from getting the ball back.
Yeah,
and so just being in that environment and. It was something that also struck me.
Was this solo, by the way, or was this?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Something that struck me too is, I haven't been in too many because I went to the Notre Dame, press conference after. I haven't been in too many emotional press conference locker room settings in a while. Like,
Oh boy, you're not lying there.
and I get that pro sports maybe doesn't have as much of it as college,
Yeah.
or certainly high school.
Yeah.
But like that Pacers Game 7 locker room, by all accounts, sounded relatively emotional.
Right. And we were on the other end of that in Game 6 where it was
Yes,
hope and
right,
elation
right.
and all that.
So I thought that was, to watch Jack Kaiser, for example, the Mr. Football here,
Yeah.
play at Notre Dame for 6 years, and watch just his bawling.
Yeah.
That's, then I'm watching Jack Kaiser out there on the field, week 17 for the Jags pregame and thinking to myself, like, will he have one of those moments in the NFL? Or is that just a college thing?
I don't know. I
Because
feel like it can go both
Monday night,
ways.
you're going to see that.
Yeah.
That's
that's
true.
true.
I thought the coolest sights from the Fiesta Bowl was watching Trinidad Chambliss and Carson Beck's emotion in the final few minutes and
Yeah.
postgame.
Do you think part of that is just the finality of knowing you have to kind of grow up? I think that's part of like why college is why we love it. Because
I think the
think about it.
pageantry is still there.
That's true, but also
I get that it's starting to lessen in the portal era and the NIL era, but I do think there's a little bit of an element of like, you are literally living with some of these individuals.
That's what I'm saying.
on
That's
your
what I was
team.
getting at. Like I think
Like
about
Fernando Mendoza lives with Charlie Becker.
Yeah. I think back to my college days.
Daniel Jones is not living with Alec Pierce.
No. But granted, Daniel Jones also had his college roommates make a cast for him or whatever. So my point is, granted, I didn't play college athletics, didn't play even at a high level in high school, whatever the point is. But my point is, when you have those shared experiences and you wake up every day for a few years and your best friends are literally down the street or literally in the same apartment as you, I think that's just a hard ending right there. And you want to go out on a high note and on a positive note, and they have a chance to do that Monday night.
Indeed. Mark Dykton, let's check it down. All right, that's 3 in a row for the Pacers. Last night, 98-96. It was their first win without scoring at least 100 points since November 2022. Pascal Siakam, a running floater? Maybe not a running floater, but a floater in the lane. That was the game winner, 98-96. After the game, Joe Mazzulla had a press conference that lasted 43 seconds. He was asked 6 questions, and his response was 2 words to every single question in regards to how Pascal Siakam got the ball.
Joe, give yourselves a chance to win, I guess. Take us through the last couple possessions.
Illegal screen.
What'd you say?
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
What fell apart to get you guys behind, and then how were you able to get back?
Illegal screen.
What do you mean by that? What do you want people to know about?
Illegal screen.
Would you like to say anything else?
Illegal screen.
For those that did not watch the final play, James Boyd, your opinion of Pascal Siakam's legality on the screen.
Oh, it definitely wasn't legal, but we can go back to a lot of different plays and a lot of different games and say, here is a moving screen. I think pretty much every screen Draymond Green except for Stephen Curry during their tenure together has been illegal, but no crying, baby. Buckets is what matters.
Mark, Rick Carlisle reaction from this morning after I tried to lead him down the Joe Mazzulla road.
He'll get over it. No disrespect to rats.
I forgot the no disrespect to rats. That was
What
not in
screwing
reference.
that was.
What was what of screwing that was? Was that a reference
He
to
was
the
mad
Colts?
at the Colts.
The Colts game.
He was mad at the officials in the Colts game.
That was the same day where he was like, Adam can get me, but
Right.
Roger can't get me.
Yes.
He ain't gonna get me. He ain't gonna get me.
I love that.
Adam can get me, but Goodell can't. He can't touch me.
We need more solidarity across sports. Like, for example, since Joe Mazzulla can't criticize the officials last night, you need to phone in. He should just like dial up Mike Vrabel and hold his phone up on speakerphone and let Mike Vrabel just listen to those
guys.
Just tremendous. I thought Rick Carlisle was excellent earlier today. You can check that out up on the podcast page.
Yes, I appreciate the question, but I acknowledge the question.
Can't say I appreciate the question, but I acknowledge the question.
North of the border tonight. Speaking of Peacock, last night for the Pacers, speaking of Robbie Hummel, once again tonight, it'll be Peacock and it'll be Robbie Hummel on the call. That is Indiana. It's a 7 o'clock tip. You can hear that over on our sister station, WIBC. James Boyd, the Hoosiers need it. It's January 13th. I don't want to overreact, but at some point, you got to have substance on the resume, and this resume so far, it lacks substance.
Say it one more time. That was a little.
It lacks substance, the Indiana resume. They need one tonight.
Say, you got a little like scientific-y on me for a second there. I was like, substance? Well, that's probably true. I do think this will be a huge win tonight, considering what Michigan State is, not just historically, but what they've been this season. And you need a little more on that resume, to your point, Kevin. And also, I think you kind of want to make your guys believe that you can win these types of games. That hasn't happened just yet. Granted, you are in the first year with Darren DeVries, but yeah, this would be a big confidence booster, especially in a hostile environment.
Yeah, 5.5, 6.5. I think that line kind of hovered a little bit there as an underdog. Indiana against 14-2 Michigan State tonight. Again, that is 7 o'clock. Braden Smith is your Big Ten Player of the Week for a second straight week. They have Iowa tomorrow night. That is a 6:30 tip from Hinkle. Butler, after their week off, travels down I-74 to take on the Muskies. That is 6:30, I believe. That'll be on Fugo tomorrow, as we'll have a Pacer game, Pacers-Raptors here on the Fan.
It was time to, get the out of there.
That was in regards to, I asked him what he does when he gets ejected. Where does he go? Where does he watch the game? I appreciated his entertaining of that question. He actually gave us a little bit there.
He acknowledged that one.
Yeah, he did. Monday Night Football, if you want to call it that, last night. It was the Texans all over Mark's Aaron Rodgers. 30-6, the final score in that one. The Texans defense looks menacing. We asked earlier, who is the AFC team you least trust left in the field? Buffalo, Denver, that matchup. Houston, New England, the other matchup. Several people have brought up Buffalo with the injuries. I don't deny that. But, guys, do they not have the best quarterback and the best running back left in the AFC?
That's why I would roll with Buffalo. Been there, done that.
Probably not going to pick against Josh Allen, especially considering that no other juggernaut quarterback is left in the playoffs in the AFC.
They're the veterans in there that are left. Everybody else is kind of the young guns.
The only Final Four team left from last year. Indeed, Buffalo. Granted, those injuries are there. We'll see anything lingering on Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin. All right, on the other side, Mario Cristobal, the head coach of the Hurricanes. He's got plenty of history with the Mendoza family. He had some comments on Fernando. We'll play that for you next.
With Progressive Insurance, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. See if you could save by calling 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or visiting Progressive.com. Again, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or online at Progressive.com.
It's a new year. Ready for a fresh start or career reboot? At My Computer Career, prep for a more recession-resistant future in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, in months, not years, including AI. Whether you're starting out or switching careers, no prior training is needed. Attend school online from home or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu to take the free career evaluation today. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Score more with the college-branded Venmo debit card. Rep your team with every tap and earn up to 5% cash back through Venmo Stash, a new rewards program where the more you do, the more you get. Get your Venmo debit card today and start earning rewards with Venmo Stash. Learn more at venmo.com/collegecard.
The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. Select schools available. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms.
The Ride with JMV.
So Indiana wins tonight 56-22.
This is the most incredible story that we have ever seen. And there's no hyperbole. I know I live in a world at times of over the top and hyperbole, but this is not it. I think it's just difficult to realize when something like this occurs, when something like this happens, you never want it to go away. away, and you try to do your best to make sure that it never does.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 till 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright. Fernando.
You're listening to The Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Shout out to my college roommate, Ryan Dorsey. He got married just before Christmas, and this was the song him and his wife came out to.
Oh, nice.
How about that?
Look at that.
You better hope and pray that she loves you a lot. Fernando. Abba. Action right there. Boy, cluster truck tasting delicious day. How about Taylor Tannenbaum saying the one thing she misses in Indy the most is cluster truck?
We sure she wasn't watching the broadcast. Zooming on that hat of yours, Kevin.
That woman lives in Connecticut right now. ESPN star. And she was all about it. Shout out to Cluster Truck. Big fan. That is your promo code. $5 off. We got to double check with Evan Sherrill if that tailgate special will be there for Monday night. You're watching the IU game. No better way. 2 large pizzas, 2 pounds of chicken strips, $29.99. Excellent. Big fan. That is your promo code right there at Cluster Truck.
The only downside is you don't get the food hand delivered, perhaps by Evan Sherrill, so you don't get the whiff of the best smelling man in Indianapolis.
I know, Mark. We got to get him up in studio here at some point.
So I told him, I said, we're still cleaning up out here. We want to look respectable for Evan.
Yeah.
He can't be smelling that good, and he comes into like stuff laying all over the place.
Dude, I'll be honest. Yesterday it hit me. I went home and I saw what Nelly was wearing, 8-week-old Nelly, versus what I was wearing. I mean, it was pathetic how I dressed on this Monday morning. Nelly looked beautiful. Real clothes.
Oh, wow. I thought it was going to be like kind of like the opposite. I was a little confused. I'm like, what is she wearing?
No, Matt. She had her 2-month checkup, and yeah, Maddie had put her in like real clothes.
Oh,
and,
Maddie got her suited and booted. Let's go.
Man, the Under Armour logo on my sweatpants was half ripped, and I just looked like a.
Did you have like a little tear in the eye? Like, boy, that one's mine.
There was maybe a tad bit of emotion for me there.
I love that.
We will have Trent Green. We're thinking potentially tomorrow. Mark, is that right?
Correct.
So we'll chat with him, the former IU quarterback. Speaking of IU quarterbacks, Mario Cristobal. How about this? James Boyd, same high school as Fernando Mendoza.
Wow.
Christopher Columbus High. We had Mendoza's coach on. Was that just before the Heisman we had him on?
I believe so, because he told us he was going. He was going to be there for the ceremony.
He was there for the Heisman ceremony.
Yeah.
So I believe Mendoza's father was an offensive lineman, and I believe Mario Cristobal was also an offensive lineman there at Christopher Columbus High School. But here was the Miami head coach yesterday describing a quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. I think he didn't. Well, I guess he was at Oregon probably when he came out of high school, but he pursued him in the portal, and now he'll face him Monday night.
I think he combines everything that you would want in an elite quarterback. He's ahead of the defense all the time. He's 2 steps ahead. He understands the back end, the front. He's extremely accurate, poised. He can make you pay with his feet. He can make you pay with his arm. He understands protections really well. He anticipates like no other. He really has distinguished himself as the best football player in the country this year. And it's not by accident. A lot of reps, a lot of hard work, a guy that has been a complete difference maker for their program.
I think Greg McElroy said the other night, James, he's a graduate level decision maker. And
I mean, that fits. I think, but doesn't he have like a graduate level degree as well? And he's a business dude. But yeah, I mean, jokes aside, he's a thinker.
Yeah, and so from a Miami standpoint, I don't know how much they can do schematically. I do think one question, and again, this is a different question I think Indiana's had to face so far. I do think Miami just has got some individual dudes. And Akeem Isidore and Ruben Bain, we just talked about with Taylor Tannenbaum last hour. I thought the stat she brought up was really interesting. This will be the highest pressure rate Indiana's faced all year. And if you look at the one game that they had their highest pressure rate, it was Ohio State, and that was probably I would say it's probably the worst offensive game of the season, right?
Yeah.
13 total points.
Only 13, win by 3, yeah.
So, again, can Miami do any of that? But, again, stopping the run is another thing. It's just the IU balance to them is, certainly one of their greatest trademarks.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for this matchup just because, again, I think it'll come down to can you limit the explosive plays that Miami has? Because, again, when I look at, like, on paper and really on tape as well, I don't see this as a game where Indiana can really lose unless something crazy happens. You have the uncharacteristic turnovers.
Yeah, Bain has a strip sack.
Yeah, something like that. So if you can avoid those types of even opportunities for them to make those plays, then I think if you force them to kind of beat you straight up, they probably can't do it. I mean, I would expect Miami to put together 10, 12 play drives, go down there and score over and over again. I don't expect them to, quite honestly, have a lot of offensive success if they don't have a short field every now and then, if they don't force some 3 and outs and things like that. So we'll see how it goes from that standpoint. I do think I don't want to overlook what Miami's defensive line has done to other quarterbacks throughout this run, but man, I just feel like IU's in a different weight class when it comes to their discipline, how they play, the violence they play with on both sides of the ball. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you make about Miami driving, the actual 10, 11 play drives. First off, I don't know if Miami's disciplined enough to do that too many times. I mean, they had so many penalties against Ole Miss. But they do have some guys offensively that can turn 4 into 40. I mean, Malachi Tony, I love their running back, Fletcher. I think he's a really good player. And, again, Taylor brought up, Marion and Daniels, 2 of the other wideouts. For those that watched that Notre Dame game earlier this year, Daniels had that incredible one-handed catch there late in the first half, a huge play right before halftime. So I do think Miami's got some individual athletes that are just, frankly, different. And so how well can Indiana stop that? Mark, so Roger Goodell was really in Northwest Indiana. Is this a thing?
That's what they tell me. That's the reports I was reading ahead of the game on Saturday night and stuff, that they said he was in attendance for the Bears and Packers game. But ahead of time, he was hanging out with owner George McCaskey and President Kevin Warren and whatnot, and they're surveying future site possibilities for the Chicago Bears, including the Arlington Heights property, which they already own, but a couple in Northwest Indiana.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. This is legitimate. It's from the Sports Business Journal, Yahoo
Boy, I
Sports.
would love to know where. I mean, obviously, I've made my Hobart Bricky jokes, and can you put a football field on Fair Oaks Farm, Mark? Can you imagine
They probably have enough acreage to do that.
Imagine the tailgating with those milkshakes.
It says here 2 sites in Northwest Indiana. So if you had to pick your 2, where are you picking? Bricky Bowl and the Steel Yard?
Oh, the Steel Yard.
Shout out to the Gary South Shore Railcats, baby.
Would love that.
They had some great wings on game day. I missed those vouchers.
I mean, where would you go, Mark? I mean, right off 65, right off 41. I'm trying to think of
Yeah, you got to think right around Gary
Hammond?
or something like that. You're right in the arteries
Sherrillville?
of...
Yeah, I think you want to stay in what I would consider Chicago plus area.
Yeah, Lake Michigan nearby.
Antoine Moore's hometown.
Yeah.
So this is a thing. This might happen.
Don't tell it to the people back in Chicago, boy.
Or is this just leverage? I mean, the fact that Goodell is boots on the ground is a little different to me.
Well, the Bears sent out a letter to season ticket holders, and one of the questions was, our vision remains clear to build a world-class stadium worthy of our world-class fans, one that reflects the future we're building together, blah, blah, blah. We have critically expanded our search critically to evaluate opportunities throughout the wider Chicagoland area, including Northwest Indiana. So that's an official Bears letter to season ticket holders.
Chris on the text line. Is the double jacket coming out Monday night? Where do Notre Dame fans sit on IU winning a title? I don't know. Who would Notre Dame want to see lose more? Miami, who they have the history with and they lost to week 1, or the team that, has been a little brother in the state of Indiana for so long and now has resources?
I would think it's probably Indiana.
They'd rather see Indiana lose?
I would think so. But granted, I'm also, I guess, of the younger crowd, so I think that new hate probably trumps the old hate in this regard.
Yeah, I would say generation above us is probably on the Miami side of it.
Yeah. But I also think that we're in a new era period when it comes to the college football playoff, NIL, and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, I know that Notre Dame has won in the past, but I mean, if Indiana's able to capture what has eluded you in your last couple of trips to the national championship game, that would really, really sting.
Mark JD on the James JD on the text line wanted to ask about Carly Ursay's Gordon's comments. I believe this is in regards to your question, James, where she referenced, "I need to stay in my lane." Was that in regards to her opinion on Daniel Jones?
Yeah, I think that was actually a reference she made twice. First, regarding Anthony Richardson and his future with the franchise, and Daniel Jones to a degree. So she seemed to want to step back from the more football decisions. But I do think, as someone who gets the final say, you have to make some decisions when it comes to your personnel. I mean, she was the one that green-lighted the Sauce Gardner trade. And you could argue that I want to stay in my lane. But yeah, until someone wants to do something of that magnitude.
Yeah, I mean, when it's got franchise-altering ramifications, I'm feel free to step in.
Yeah.
I'm not asking her to, evaluate the 30 quarterbacks coming out this year and make a decision off of that.
But I do think she needs to be, and she will. I don't want to make it seem like I'm being condescending here. I'll take that back from that perspective. She's certainly very capable of making her own decisions. But I assume that she will have a big say in Daniel Jones being brought back, what the contract looks like, things like that when it comes to just trying to keep the continuity there.
Jordan, how much the decision to keep Ballard and Steichen was based on saving face as an owner? Oh, boy. I mean, is that... do you guys think they would
saving face?
Been criticized?
Meaning...
He adds this, do you guys think they would have been criticized in league circles for cleaning house first-year owner? I don't think they would have been criticized. I mean, it's not like this is... It's not like Carly Arsay Gordon was on Mars the last decade.
No, and I don't get the impression that she, for better or worse, quite frankly, and I think it's probably for the better, cares about what other owners think of what she's doing with her franchise. Like, I get what she has talked about in the past of learning how the business works and learning how to operate a team, but you don't want to get too caught up in other processes from other franchises that you're not convicted and confident in your own.
Yeah, and I don't think... I guess I'd say this. I was a little concerned about Jim Irsay wanting to believe his own comments. The comments when Chris Ballard was hired in January 2017. We've hired the greatest resume in the 21st century of any GM, and I'm paraphrasing there, but that's pretty much what he said. I was worried that Jim Irsay wanted that to come to fruition. That's why he hung on for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane's asking if Notre Dame fans dislike Indiana. I think they're jealous. Certainly I am.
They're saying on the message boards, Kevin. Let us know.
Well, Notre Dame big portal haul yesterday, and hopefully a few more today. So Notre Dame has recovered. By the way, did you see the Marcus Freeman video?
Yeah, and I couldn't make any sense of
I was going to say, what's crazy about that is...
Pretty non-story, right?
One, I had to really squint to see where he was in the video because what we were told by this person who filed this report or whatever, I was...
Charges dropped for those that haven't followed the story.
But I was, I don't know, assaulted or whatever.
Yeah, battery.
That didn't happen clearly. And I honestly think that when people do stuff like that, you should be able to just sue them back for wasting everyone's time. And apparently he told the police right away, like, I recognize he was who he was. And
Which that really bothers me.
Yeah, that's sickening. So I honestly think that you should be fined for doing stuff like that. But
like Marcus Freeman is trying to be and I'd say this if it was Barry Odom, Kurt Signetti, Shane Steichen, Rick Carlisle, Stephanie White, whoever. Can we let these people be parents in public and not run over there? And they spend so many hours away from their family.
Yeah.
When they are out in public trying to support their family, let's just be normal.
Not possible, apparently.
Not possible at all. A few more we'll get to, and we'll round it out. Kevin Bowe and James Boyd. Mark Dykton here on a Tuesday.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Out on the course, they're the PGA Tour's best players. But in the arena, they're prime time. And Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back with lights, cameras, action. We're talking big moments, big personalities, big names in the stands, all on the big screen. Big-time matchups with shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, and playoffs. It's city versus city, squad versus squad. The sport just hits different under the lights. It's TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf. Tune into every match. Only on ESPN.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Guys and ladies, you made New Year's resolutions to get back in shape. Want real results in 2026? Go to Synergenics and Low T Center for a free men's TRT test and $200 off the women's hormone test. Book at getmyhealthfix.com now.
Don't miss Hard at the Fishers Event Center Saturday, March 15th. Get your tickets now at 1075thefan.com.
The Butler Bulldogs head to Cincy to take on the Xavier Musketeers. Tomorrow evening at 6 on FM 92.7 Fuego.
Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up!
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Open the podcast to Rick Carlisle, Taylor Tannenbaum. Really enjoyed both combos. Rick hit on a lot of different things, from the 1,000th win to Pascal Siakam's All-Star candidacy, his really, I think, admiration, frankly, for Curt Cignetti. And I thought he got pretty retrospective, if you will, on the coaching philosophy, 1,000 win, a little bit of the background stuff. So that's up in the podcast. And Taylor Tannenbaum, again, lead voice over at ACC Network. She talked the Miami Hurricanes. The other side of it, the line continues to climb. Indiana, an 8.5-point favorite, coming up on Monday night. Did I see something about Tamika Catchings in my inbox, James, earlier in the show?
Yes. So this from Pacers Sports and Entertainment. Indiana Fever legend Tamika Catchings reunites with the Pacers Sports and Entertainment in a new role as an ambassador. So she'll be supporting the company's business, community, and basketball activities. Probably not a bad gig for her to have, considering her resume here in Indiana. Everyone knows Tamika Catchings, and I would argue she is, pound for pound, the greatest basketball player to ever represent the city.
Did I come across Kanan Catchings now at Georgia?
I believe you are correct. Now, I will say I know nothing about that beyond him just being there.
The nephew of Tamika Brownsburg, for those unfamiliar, was originally committed to Purdue, and maybe did he move in initially? And then, I don't know, it was a very weird timing. BYU last year, yeah, I'm seeing it right here. He's averaging 9 points a game at Georgia.
Shooting 40% from the field, 27% from three.
Yeah, 20 over South Carolina over the weekend. Mark, I don't know if this is serious or not, but I brought up one of these spots in Northwest Indiana for the Bears to move to. I think Lost Marsh Golf Course is one of the wilder golf courses in all of America. And I'm seeing here on the text line that RC sent in a map of where they're looking, and he literally has it on the other side of the street from Lost Marsh.
Look at that.
Do you know where that is, by the way?
No, not off the top of my head.
It's just east of 90, like Wolf Lake is kind of by there. Somebody also chimed in, well, they just put it by the casinos.
I mean, that could work too. There's casinos popping up all over the place in Northwest Indiana.
Would the Colts be mad about that?
That's an interesting question. I don't know.
I don't know, because that area is so Bears heavy
That's
anyway.
What I'm saying, man.
Right.
I know we had the guy the other week who said, like, oh, it's a lot of Colts fans up here. I don't doubt that, but like the ratio, the percentages, I don't think it's all that high for Colts fans.
No, I mean,
at least in my interactions.
I mean, living in that area, when the Bears and Colts are on the same time, the Bears game is on and the Colts game is usually blacked out. So that tells you what the dominant team fandom is.
And to be fair, driving from Gary to Chicago is not that far. It's like driving from here to Greenwood. Like maybe 20, 30 minutes. So it's not like you're really trying to
putting traffic to the side.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, I just don't think that it's something where, oh my God, they're in Indiana. They're so far away. They're just not. People cross the border up there, the state lines all the time.
Yeah, for those who missed it, Roger Goodell, I guess, up in Northwest Indiana here recently with the McCaskies viewing some sites
The
there.
East Chicago Bears.
Mark, did I see correct? Did they have that on the broadcast right when was it TJ Johnson that got hurt? TJ, what's his name?
TJ Edwards.
TJ Edwards. When he got hurt, was that one of the McCaskies
Yes.
running into the locker room to see him?
Yeah. George, yep.
I thought that was kind of a cool sight.
He seems like a pretty
not to get. I mean, I don't want to turn this into a McCaskey conversation here, but I don't know. I'm not saying here every ownership group is not running down there to view their player, but that's not your star quarterback going in there.
No, he's an interesting dude. I mean, he doesn't like cussing and all that, which obviously Ben Johnson's locker room speech is a bit different, but he legit coaches referees kids
he does Little League games.
Little League games on the weekends.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Courtney Cronin did a great piece on this.
He'll be in northern Chicago suburbs refereeing games.
Well, sounds like he needs to be at the Al Smith invite for wrestling next time Marcus Freeman's son gets on the mat with that new Prairie assistant coach.
When they were here for the Colts game a couple of years ago, he was just walking around the parking lot just saying hi to fans and everything like that. He just roams around.
Boy,
that's cool.
Yeah, that is
I was
cool.
walking by, I'm like, oh, there's George McCaskey just hanging out.
I like that. Okay. All right. I'm starting to come around on your Bears, Mark.
I'll take you. Jump on the bandwagon while you can.
Boy, so how quickly does the elation move to nervousness? When do you start getting a little nervous and antsy for the game, Mark?
Well, according to Mark, they've already accomplished everything.
Well, that's true, but you still want your team to keep advancing, right?
I thought Mark overreacted to the wild card win.
No, get out of
you
here.
can't.
Absolutely
That's
not.
100 years of hate.
Yeah.
Playing at home, they should win the game.
But the fact that you knocked out your arch rival and
Mark's acting like they're playing this is Gonzaga in 2000.
You know what?
Well, the rivalry's been
UMBC,
so lopsided. The
St.
rivalry's
Peter's.
been so lopsided the past 20 years. So when you're finally okay, the page is starting to turn in our direction, you have to take it, especially when they blew that big lead after having it in the second half and everything like that. You gotta take it when you can get it. So rub it in their faces. They've been doing it to you, and I can't believe Ben Johnson would say that about the Packers. The Packers were saying that about the Bears for 20 years as well. Aaron Rodgers telling them they own us and everything like that. So stick it. Get over here.
I was a little surprised that they got the Sunday night slot.
I was not, because I was like,
oh man, Chicago, LA. I thought that for sure.
The
was
two
gonna be
biggest
the prime
markets
slot.
left, and then also you got to think of the time difference for LA. They're not going to put them on the early window. That'd be like a morning game.
That's a good point, but I didn't think that LA was even going back west after they had won their game. Did they? Well, they probably went home. I would assume they probably did.
This from Craig. When you asked about Notre Dame fans, I'll be supporting Indiana. Miami is still the convicts. So again, James, this gets into our older generation. He goes, my question is, how many current IU football fans have used the reversible jacket cheering for Notre Dame football and switched it to IU basketball? Yes, I know there are a lot of those out there, and I think they have probably had to turn on the jacket. Big one tonight for the Irish. Come on. They got Miami. This is the Malik Renew game coming up Monday night.
I had the Malik Renew burger down at Big Woods in Indiana when that was a thing, and it was great. Shout out to Malik Renew.
He's getting buckets for the Hurricanes down there. Notre Dame, Miami tonight. I know it's top of mind for everybody out there. Just wanted to make sure we got that. Indiana and Michigan State. Again, that is in East Lansing, an underdog there, right around 6 or 7. Michigan State, one of the better rebounding teams, certainly in the Big Ten.
Don't say those numbers too loud now.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I can see your children, Rosie and Max. I can see it already.
Hopefully their teachers are not letting them listen to the radio during school. Although we could certainly use some listeners on that front. So that'll be your local basketball coverage. Tomorrow we're a little busier. We've got Purdue and Iowa. We've got Butler and Xavier. And we've got the Pacers with another game at home. They have got the Toronto Raptors. Again, a big thanks to Rick Carlisle and Taylor Tannenbaum. Both of those up on the podcast. Jeff will be back tomorrow. For Kevin Bowen, for James Boyd.